How are you feeling today? Do you feel fulfilled in life? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. Oh. Oh, there we go. Look at that. You see how they try to sabotage this chat? Now, let's get our intro done properly, okay? You guys ready? Count it down for me. 3, 2, 1. Serious face. Have you ever felt like being overly invested in a man has actually made your relationships harder and more painful? Well, what if I told you it's actually possible to avoid a lot of that unnecessary pain while also being more attracted to the men that you're dating? If that doesn't make sense to you, how that's even possible, don't worry. Join me on today's show where we'll be discussing how to detach so men fall in love with you. That way you can be at emotional peace while the men choose you instead of being in a place of agony and desperation for the men who are ignoring you. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. Isn't that amazing? They tried to mess me up at the beginning with the audio, and I still killed the intro perfectly, okay? That's how you know. That's how you fight through adversity, chat. You see how you do that? That's how you do that in real life and with everything else. How you guys are doing today? Who we got up in the TikTok chat? We got Diana here, Treasure here, Shelby here, Betty here, and Nintendo here. We got Gold Plants here, Tiffany here, E here, Dejana here. I like that. Chanel or Channel. Is it Chanel or Channel? Okay. Welcome all you beautiful people in the TikTok chat. Of course, we have our 3 moderators, SH, Cerise, and Scotty here. Who we got over in the TikTok chat? I see we got LP Baby here, Kayla here. Shout out to the people who are in the YouTube chat real early today. I think Tracy Now's, Great Fortune Cookie, one of our amazing channel members here real early today. Nicole Cottom, shout out to you, one of our amazing channel members. Olga, who guessed my outfit right? Because I know those of you who are early like to guess what color and style I'm gonna wear today. So who was it that got it right? Okay, and thank you, Go Plants, for the donation here. Thank you for the donation in the TikTok chat. I appreciate that a lot, a lot, a lot. We just getting started. You already donated. All right, chat. Let's hop into our first point of the day today, okay? Gonna be a very interesting show because it's about detachment, but how do you detach and date people? It's kind of a strange concept because you would think to yourself, if I'm gonna date people, I should be super invested in them, fall in love with them, and I should be all about them, okay? Not necessarily, and I'm gonna explain to you why. So we're gonna start with our point number 1. Now, point number 1 is titled Men Have Goals. Now, what does that really mean when I say that men have goals? Let's kind of draw out a little bit. You know, you guys love drawings, all right? And let's kind of understand each other on what I mean by men have goals. Now, let's just say, for the sake of example, obviously, you know, life is a little bit gray. So not everything is going to be black and white, good or bad, good or evil, okay? It's not that simple, but I wanted to break it down like this so that we can better understand each other. See, whenever you meet men and you go on a first, a second, or even a third date with them, you're more likely, okay, to see a lot of the good traits about them. So the fact that he's kind, right? The fact that he's friendly, the fact that he is generous, maybe he pays for your date, right? The fact that he's respectful. And all of these other traits and so on and so forth that you may see from a man that you're dating. Now, this is good. This is great. I want you to see those things from the men that you're dating. But what you have to understand is that when you go out on these dates, these men that you're on a date with actually have a goal in mind, which is to be with you or to be attractive to you. And in order for them to be attractive to you, it's very important that they also present themselves in a very particular way and a very particular light so that you can be the most attracted to them as you possibly can. Why? Because if they make the mistake of not doing that, then you might choose to not allow them to jackrabbit themselves inside of you, okay? I'm trying to break it down real simple for you so you can kind of understand these concepts and motivations. So men are motivated by the fact that they know if you're attracted to them, you like their traits, you like their vibe and their energy, that you're more likely to allow them to come into you and come inside you, both figuratively and literally, okay? Now, but here's the other thing that I want you to understand. As many good traits as any human being can have, they will also have bad traits. So maybe they're extremely jealous, okay? Maybe they have anger problems. Put anger problem, right? Maybe they are really, let's just say, they can give you the silent treatment. And let's say, for the sake of example, they're too friendly. So someone's friendly, but they're too friendly, okay? So a lot of times when you go out on dates with guys and you're meeting them and in the process of getting to know them, you're seeing a lot of these traits about men. But the problem is these traits of men also exist. Now, that's not necessarily means that he's a bad person or means that he's necessarily trying to pull the wool over your eyes, but I want you to understand that when you date men, you have to date men with the understanding that they also have goals. And their goals are to present themselves in the best positive light so that you will like and be attracted to them, that they will get the best opportunity to be able to sleep with you. Let's just be so for real. And if they make the mistake of showing themselves in too many of these bad traits too early on, it will become too obvious to you that you should not sleep with him, and you'll make a decision to not choose him or allow him to get access to you unless you really like walking red flags. I know some of you that turns you on. But aside from that, right, most men understand I need to present a very particular part of myself. So I say all that to say what you need to start detaching yourself from and the way you want to approach dating in order to approach it from a detached standpoint is understanding it's great that I like the traits that I'm seeing from you early on. And I never want you to be of the thinking or feeling that anytime something is good, there's something bad coming. What I want you to understand is when you go out on your dates, it's good to feel good. It's good to enjoy the first couple of dates. It's good to enjoy the vibe of the time you're spending with this guy. But what I also want you to do while you're dating is say, okay, I'm enjoying my time. I understand things are going well, but I also understand there is more for me to learn. And the difference between this and the mistake you can make while dating is that you become so overly invested in the traits and the qualities that you see on these first few dates that you think to yourself, this is all I'm ever going to see. This is all I'm ever going to experience of him. And this is all our relationship will ever be. That's a mistake because that will put you in a place where you start making decisions as if you're only ever going to know these parts of this man's personality. You're not. You're going to eventually learn these other parts of his personality that are not so attractive to you, that you may or may not like as much as these ones. But it's very important that when you meet a human being and you're starting to get to know them and you want to take them seriously in a romantic sense, that you know both this side and this side of that human being. So you detach yourself from the idea that, oh my God, this is going to be my perfect, amazing man and my perfect, amazing relationship just because these first few dates are going well. Doesn't mean you anticipate things going wrong. You just have an understanding that while things are going good now, there is always more to learn. And there is definitely still more to learn when we're only in our first couple of dates, we're only in our first couple of months, and I'm seeing a lot of good things from you, but I want to allow myself to experience you in totality and experience different sides of you and different situations that we can be in our relationship before I make an assumption of who you really are. So you detach yourself from the feeling that someone is all you'll know about them in the first couple of days, weeks, or even months. You only really get to know someone over the course of many, many years, truthfully. And that process is slow, and sometimes you can't always anticipate when things will rear their ugly head, when things will pop up, or when you'll see different sides of that human being. What you have to rely on is time to take care of things and take care of you in this scenario, and allow you the space emotionally, and allow you the time to be able to see a multitude of different things from the man that you're dating, okay? This will put you in a more peaceful state. This will put you in a more relaxed state. It'll also allow you to receive more from men, okay? Because like I said, this isn't meant to be anxiety inducing where you're thinking to yourself, oh, it's going good for just a little bit, but it's eventually gonna go back. No, 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 no. You're relaxed. You're in a state where you're allowing things to flow, and you're allowing that man to choose you. And as you're dating him, you're understanding that if he's showing you good qualities, then you will accept that. However, you'll not make the mistake of thinking that those are the only things you're ever going to see from him. And you'll allow him to consistently continue to show you things over the course of time. Okay? So let's hop into point number 2. All right? Now that we are of the same understanding that the men have goals, because I actually do need you to understand that. Sometimes you might go on to date and think to yourself, well, the men, their only real goal is to sleep with me. But there's deeper than that, right? How do those goals actually manifest themselves in other parts of the relationship? So let's hop into number 2, which is also very important. And I want to kind of change your understanding of that. Oops. I'm over here damn near writing in cursive. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have a little bit of fun in point number 2. Or so I need you to participate, because this is so important that you understand, we both understand, and we're all on the same page about. So please pay attention, because I'm gonna ask you a question after I explain this scenario here, okay? So let's say, for the sake of example, I know you all love these. So that's why I love giving you guys these type of examples. We're all gonna be on the same page about this, all right? So you should know what that is. I hope you know what that is, okay? So we're gonna draw you here. And today, you're gonna have some longer hair today. And your nice big eyes, eyebrows on point. We're gonna draw your nice smile there, okay? So this is you, right? You guys know what this is? Kiss in the chat. I hope you know, okay? Now, we're gonna draw here, okay? We're gonna draw here something very interesting. And I want you to kind of get a grip on this. So this will be very important. We'll just draw her a little bit different than you with some glasses. Okay. So this here is the saleswoman. Okay. Does that look good? Look like a saleswoman? Anyways, so what I want to do for you here is I want to kind of describe a situation to you to connect this for you and help you understand how and why I want you detaching yourself from value and the way that I want you doing that. So let's imagine a scenario in which you go to a Chanel store, okay? And you're looking through the Chanel store, you know what the usual price of things will be at the Chanel store. And you come across this really nice, what's that Chanel bag? What's the name of the style of Chanel bag? You know that big one that you see a lot of girls with that has like the quilted pattern? You know what I'm talking about? It's got that almost like, it's leather, but it almost looks like a quilt the way they pattern it on the bag. I don't know what the name of that particular bag is. Someone tell me in the chat. But let's say you see that bag sitting at the store and you're looking at it and you're like, oh, you know, this is a really nice bag. The classic flap. You see, I know you guys love bags, so that's why we talk about bags. The Chanel classic flap is the one that you see at the store, okay? That's the big girl bag that you see a lot of those celebrities with, right? So that's the one that you see at the store. You pick it up, you're looking at it, and you're like, interesting, you know, cool, nice little bag, cool, nice little stitching. I see the gold accents, and you see the price of the bag there, sitting there, is $10,000. And you're looking at the bag and you're like, it's a nice bag, it's a nice style, but I don't really think it's worth $10,000. So you take the bag and you go up to the front desk and you go up to the saleswoman and you tell her, look, saleswoman, you work at Chanel. And I know you've been working here for many years, but I'm just here to tell you something you probably didn't know or realize. You see, you have a Chanel bag, a Chanel Classic flap, like you guys said, on your rack, priced at $10,000. But I'm here to tell you that I've analyzed the quilting and the stitching. I've analyzed the craftsmanship, the weight, and the fact of how usable or reusable or resellable it is. And I'm here to tell you that I don't think this bag is worth $10,000. I actually think that this bag here is only worth $5. So I'm going to tell you that in this store here, I'm not paying you $10,000 for this bag. I'll pay you $5 because that's what I think the real value of this bag is. Tell me in the chat, how do you think the salesperson would respond to you if you did that? If you were to come to her and tell her, hey, this $10,000 Chanel flap bag, I actually think is worth only $5 with all my calculations, and I'm only prepared to pay $5 for it. How do you think the saleswoman would respond to you in that Chanel store? Everyone has to participate. I want to see everyone's answer. Okay. Someone said security. They'd say get out. Scotty says laugh. Someone said slap me. Okay, right. Definitely getting kicked out. You'd be at the wrong store. She won't sell it to you. She'll tell me to go home. She'd ask me to leave. Okay, right. She'll laugh and let me be alone. Right. She'll call security. Flower said I buy my purses from Temu. Less than $5. They're beautiful. Okay. I'm getting laughed and kicked out. All right. So this is great. I'm glad that we're all participating and we're all on the same page, because there's a very important lesson here, even though that this is a funny, comical scenario, because this is the thing. You have to understand with value, sometimes you as a woman might end up placing a lot of your own personal value on what other guys think of you and how they choose to treat you, or in some cases mistreat you. And you'll start to think of yourself as either more attractive, more desirable if a man chooses to treat you right, or less attractive and less desirable if a man chooses to treat you wrong. But here's the problem with that. Because as time goes on, you might listen to my show or other people's show and say, okay, I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to set boundaries. I'm going to have self-respect. I'm going to walk with confidence. And then you meet a guy and you like his vibe and you like his style and you think he's sexy and he's tall and he's handsome. And then you apply all of those things like your confidence and your self-respect and your boundaries. And he's like, oh, no. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for someone who I can use and take advantage of. And he walks away from you. Then you start to think to yourself, well, I did all of those things, that are supposed to make me valuable, that are supposed to make me attractive, that are supposed to make me desirable to men. But because I didn't get the response I wanted from one man or a couple of men, that means that my value is actually not where I think it is. And I need to now make sure that I do what they want me to do, which is be easy, which is be available, which is answer their calls and texts whenever they want, which is pull up on them ASAP, and all the other things that they'll say, oh, I actually want a girl who's easygoing, who's peaceful, who won't say anything, who won't speak up for herself. I don't need a girl who says no and sets boundaries and blah, blah, blah. And you might start thinking to yourself, because you attach all of your value to how the men choose to treat you or mistreat you, to whether or not a guy likes you or whether or not you are attractive or valuable. And so because of that, you start to change or adjust your behavior every time you don't get the exact response you want from men. But what I want you to detach yourself from is feeling like you either have less or more value if men choose to treat you good or treat you bad. Because you have to understand that for the men, they will come into your life with their own motives, which is actually why we had number one is men have their own goals. They have their own goals of what they want out of you and out of this relationship and a relationship in general. And some men will be at a place in their life that when they approach you or when they're talking to you, they're not at all focused on being in a relationship with anyone. not just you, anyone. And they're not at all in a place where they're able to be responsible, financially responsible, capable, have resources, or have the mindset or approach to be able to actually get into a long-term serious relationship. And because they're not in that state in their life, when they approach you or when they start talking to you, they mistreat you, or they don't take the relationship seriously, or they just confuse you. And you start to think to yourself, well, that's a reflection of me and my value. No, it's not. It's a reflection of how he chose to treat you based on whatever was going on with him. And once you understand what actually makes you valuable, which is your ability to say no, set boundaries, have self-respect, walk with confidence, right? And some men will be attracted to that because they're serious about dating and serious about a relationship. And some men will be repulsed by that, not because you're repulsive, but because they're not looking for a serious relationship, not looking for a serious partner, and they just want to mess around themselves. Then you understand that my value is not necessarily correlated to whether or not a guy chooses to treat me well. As long as I stay the course and keep my focus on these particular traits, presenting myself this particular way, I will always attract a man who is ready for a relationship and is serious about a relationship. Yes, I will also repel men and be unattractive to men who are not serious, but that's okay. And I want you to understand that that's also a necessary sacrifice in order to get the type of relationship that I'm assuming you're looking for, right? And you're never going to be appealing to everyone, especially if you are used to being a people pleaser, someone that's always trying to change yourself and adjust yourself for any guy that you're dating or any guy that you're even talking to. This can be a difficult challenge because you'll realize that when you adopt this mindset and you start to adjust your behavior and the way you approach men and relationships with them, and you're literally like, I'm always gonna have boundaries no matter what. I'm always gonna have high standards no matter what. I'm always gonna carry myself with self-respect no matter what and who it is that I'm dating. You're gonna find it a little bit painful when you date men and some of them say, yeah, I don't like you. Not because you're actually unattractive, they're not gonna say that, but because I'm not looking for someone like you. I'm looking for someone I can take advantage of. I'm looking for someone I can confuse and use. I'm looking for someone I can string along that doesn't know what they want themselves and will just allow me to play games with them. And some men will be repulsed by you because it's clear that you won't take that and you won't stand for that. And so you have to understand that that's not a reflection on you or your value, right? The same way, and the reason I kind of brought this example, right? The same way, right, when you go to a Chanel store, just because you tell the salesperson and the saleswoman that you think the bag is worth $5, that doesn't necessarily mean that the bag is actually worth $5. You as an individual aren't the one who determines the value of the bag, right? The market determines the value of the bag. So as long as there's multiple people that agree on the fact that this stitching and this quilting and this craftsmanship is worth $10,000, that bag will be priced at $10,000. You don't get to walk into the store and determine its price just because you feel like devaluing it so you can get it at a discount. And it's the same thing for the men that you're dating. They don't get to just walk into your life and determine what your value is based on how they feel like mistreating you today and getting something easy today. You have to allow yourself to understand that I myself am very valuable to the right person. And as long as I am valuable to the right people by having boundaries, having self-respect, being the type of wife that a man will eventually want into his life, I'm not worried about random people that will come into my store and tell me that this bag is only worth $5, because there are definitely men who are willing to pay $10,000 for this bag. Okay? Are we on the same page so far? Excuse me. Thank you so much for the donations. We're going to address all the donations at the end here. You guys are going donation crazy. Don't worry. I see your donations. I want to stay focused. I don't want to get too sidetracked. Okay. But thank you so much for all the donations. At the end of the show, I'm going to shout you all out. All right. Let's hop into point number 3. Okay. Does that make sense to all of you? Beautiful, beautiful souls so far. Okay. You guys know every time that I teach, I actually am imagining you're sitting in front of me. So I have like pictures of your faces in my mind sitting here, okay? It's like really real for me. This feels really real for me. All right, let's go on to number 3. Okay. All right. Number 3 is really about outcomes. And what I want you to, this is actually, I think, a really important point to be understood when it comes to dating and even just life, but in this specific case, dating. So we're going to put here 3 different paths. Let's put one path here titled FWB. You should know what that is. We'll put another one titled girlfriend. And we'll put another one titled breakup. Now, what I want you to understand when it comes to dating is that when you're seeing people, new people, you're going on your dating apps, you're going out to bars, clubs, parties, events, classes, and you meet people, you're seeing people that you might have romantic interest in, and you start dating them. This is great. This is an awesome time for you, and I love this time for you. But every time you date someone new, there are a couple of possible outcomes of the situation that you need to accept that are all possibilities, okay? You might eventually date this person and actually become his girlfriend if a lot of things go right. That's good. If you make some bad decisions, though, you might end up in the place where you're friends with benefits. That's not so good. You're probably going to end up in our Discord or asking me a private question at that point. You could also end up in a place where maybe you just realize that this isn't working out. You guys have fights, arguments, or disagreements, and you end up in a breakup, okay? So all of these things are real possibilities, really paths and options that could happen whenever you meet a man or start dating a man. But what I want you to actually detach yourself from is the idea that he has to be anyone in particular in your life when you first meet him. This is what I mean by that. And I know this is going to sound a little bit strange. See, most of you, when you start dating a man, are going to have a desire to go up into this path here, to go and eventually become his girlfriend, right? It's not unnatural. You're not going to date men and say to yourself, yeah, I want to date you and I really, really don't want to be your girlfriend, right? You want the guy that you like to like you. That's not unnatural. But what ends up happening is as time goes on and you're starting to become frustrated and unclear about things and confused about things, you might say to yourself, I really, really, really wanted so badly to be your girlfriend. And I really, really, really envision myself being with you because of how amazing I think you are and because of how many ideas and fantasies and stories that I played in my mind of me and you, or looking at the stars and me and you spending time together and cuddling and you jackrabbing yourself inside of me. And all of that, right, has built you up to be attached to the outcome of becoming his girlfriend. But this is actually a problem for you because now that you're in a situation, you're not the woman, right? And so you need him to be on board with this pathway as well. So if he's not on board with the idea of making you his girlfriend, no matter how much you kick and scream, you're never actually going to see this result, this outcome. But the thing is, if you still have a desire to feel like this is a possibility, you'll find yourself taking this path over here to end up more as a friends with benefits so you can feel just close enough to being his girlfriend, right? Just close enough to being his girlfriend as possible without actually ever being his girlfriend. But because you are so desperate to see this outcome and you so badly believe that this would be the outcome of your relationship with this guy, you're willing to allow this outcome to be possible so that you can feel very close to this one. Okay? But that's a mistake. And the mistake comes from having some sort of expectation that the guy you just met, because remember, the guy you just met, you don't really know. And they have so many things that you have to learn about him. When you just meet him and you're starting to date him, you don't want to attach yourself that this is going to be my boyfriend. Okay? This is going to be the man I marry. I'm not saying when you date men, you can't enjoy the time that you spend with them. I'm not even saying that as things are going well, you can't acknowledge that things are going well. But what I want you to do is detach yourself from the idea that this is some sort of perfect man that is coming and bestowed upon me to solve all my problems. Why? Because you're evaluating on a daily basis, and we're going to talk about evaluation in a bit. You're evaluating on a constant basis, is he showing up for me how I expect a partner to show up for me? And if the answer to that question is no, I don't care what my attachment is or how badly I want a boyfriend. I'm not going to be here as long as he's not showing up for me how I expect a man who I'm going to make my husband and is going to be my husband to show up for me. And it's kind of like a flip on its head, because what you're detaching yourself from is the outcome or the desperation that whenever I start dating a new guy, that this has to end up in him being my boyfriend and me being his girlfriend. What I want you to do when you're evaluating is use that time to say, okay, as long as it makes sense for me to be investing my time here, meaning you're showing me what I expect you to show me, I will continue to invest myself here and enjoy my time with you. But if you show me things that I don't like, if you start presenting yourself in a way that I know is not in line with what I want for a long-term relationship, I will remove myself from this situation gladly. And I will be very okay with removing myself from this situation because I realize it no longer serves me. And I know it's very hard to imagine being that balanced in your emotional approach to a relationship, because you're thinking, well, Tomisin, does that mean I have to hate all the men I date? No, it doesn't. But it also doesn't mean that you should be in fantasy land, assuming that men come into your life ready to save your life. The honest to God truth is that it's just not true, right? That not all men in your life are coming in your life to make you their wife. It's just the honest truth. But you have to do some work in figuring out who they are, what they're about, and how they're going to choose to show up for you or not show up for you. Because if their choice is to not show up for you, that's perfectly fine. And you accept that. And when you realize that, you take your energy back and you go invest it back into you, and then someone else who's actually going to show up for you when they're prepared to show up for you. But you don't start dating men with the idea that, hey, you have to be my boyfriend. You have to be the person I marry. I have to be with you. Because as soon as you do that, you will end up, when you start to get frustrated or you don't see the things that you want from him, you'll end up right in this pathway right here, where you allow him to kind of be in your life in a way where he's kind of around, but he's not actually your boyfriend. And that usually looks like friends with benefits, okay? Or some sort of weird situation where he calls you up at 3 or 4 a.m., you come over, spend time with him, he cuddles with you, or even sometimes he treats you like a girlfriend for hours or maybe days at a time, and then after that he goes back to ignoring you or pretending like you don't exist, which is even worse because now you're really confused. And it's just really complicated, okay? And I don't want you in a situation like that. You have to date men and detach yourself from the outcome that this has to be my boyfriend, this has to be my husband. No, you're evaluating things constantly, all right? Let's hop into point number 4, okay? All right, point number 4. Now, this is going to be, I know that some of the stuff I talk about will make things sound morbid, but I promise relationships are not morbid. They're not sad. They're not tragic. Okay, your life's not a tragedy. But I do have to be real with you. Okay, and I do have to serve you truth that you can realize how the real world is. Okay, we can't live in a fantasy land forever, unfortunately, if we want to get things done. Let's hop into point number 4. Okay. I spelled disappointment with 2 S's, but let's ignore that, all right? You spelled police. Let's pretend like the disappointment I spelled only had 1 S. Okay. Disappointment. And I spelled... You make me mad because I didn't even have to turn around. I already know you guys are in the chat, but it has 2 P's. It has 2 P's. Okay, there you go. All right. Let's imagine something. Okay. Chitty chat. Let's imagine something. I got something for you to imagine here. Okay. This is the thing. Disappointment will always come in life. That's okay. And what I want to kind of break down for you is a really important concept to understand. And we're going to break it down in a visual that will hopefully make some sense to you. This guy will be bald. Okay. So what you want to understand is in your dating life, you're always going to come across a plethora of different kinds of men. Some will be good men, some will be bad men. There'll be some men who are, tall, some short. Maybe you don't like short guys. Some muscular, some skinny, all different types of men. Okay, some big dogs, some soy boys. What you want to understand is when you meet a guy and you start liking a guy and things are going good, and I want them to go good for you. Understand you have a very particular type of man that you're ultimately looking for, who is going to be, I guess we can call it in this sense, the man of your dreams, right? And this man will embody all of the qualities and character traits of the type of guy that you're looking for. He will also treat you the way that you expect to be treated in a long-term, serious relationship. That's great. But you have to understand in the process of eventually finding this man of your dreams that has all of those qualities and character traits. He's tall with a big schlong. He can penetrate you, D you down, all of that good stuff that you want. You also, unfortunately, will also find some garbage men, okay? And some of the men that you meet, at some point in the process of you talking to them and getting to know them, you might actually think that one of these garbage men is the man of your dreams. Until, unfortunately, you get to know him a little bit more and you realize he's not the man of your dreams. He's actually one of these garbage men. But what I want you to detach yourself from, okay, and this is good for you and your psyche and your approach to life and relationships. What I want you to detach yourself from is the idea that no man that you ever meet or believe in or start to like or like spending time with is ever going to disappoint you. This is probably the most saddest one. That's going to sound the most sadistic here because of I'm saying that, hey, some guys that you like, some guys that you spend time with, they're going to lie to you. They're going to, cheat. They're going to disappoint you and things like that. The truth of the matter is you can't control how people choose to treat you. And sometimes the people that you like and you invest your time in and you try to do as much right as you possibly can, they will still choose to treat you like garbage, okay? But that's okay. All I want you to do is control what you can control. What does that mean? When you go out on your dates and you're here with me in the Players Club and you're learning all about men and understanding how to present yourself and understanding how to gather information, you control what you can control. Sometimes even when you do all that and you strategize and you approach it exactly as all the other creators and relationship coaches have advised you to approach it, sometimes you will meet men and they will still disappoint you after you believe in the idea that they are the man of your dreams. But that is okay. Everything that you experience when you date men is a learning lesson. Every time you go through, whether it be heartbreak, whether it, just be finding things out that you never thought were possible, realizing that a guy is not who you thought he was, all of that is good. Not in the sense that it's good that it happened to you. It's good because now that you have that experience, you're able to use that experience to take into the future of your relationships to eventually find this guy, okay? So the actual thing that I kind of want you to reshape your thinking, right, is that all of your experience with these garbage men, as strange as it will sound to you, all of the experience you have with these garbage men will actually make it possible to eventually find your dream man. Okay? Because whether you end up being with any of these garbage men or not, hopefully not, your experience with them and around them and in relationships with them will allow you to be able to better understand what you're looking for by also understanding what you're not looking for, and better experience what relationships are like, so you know what red flags to avoid, so you know what situations to avoid, so you also know how to analyze situations and analyze the men that you're going out with and dating, okay? All of this is good. But you allow men to show up for you how they choose to show up for you. Two very important things will happen when you do that. One, the men will be able to come to you and be able to say, hey, I want you. And because I want you, I'm going to take action on my desire for you and a desire to build a relationship with you, which is great because that allows you to be in your feminine. And then the number two thing that happens is you're not confused about what he wants this way, which also aids you in staying in your feminine energy. And this is actually part of the reason why, it's the main reason, why this makes you so much more attractive to men. Because when you can date men like this, not date garbage men, but when you can date men in a mind state like this, where you allow them to show up for you how they choose to show up for you, you actually don't end up being confused. Truthfully, you actually end up being very clear on what they feel and what they want, because you've given them the space to choose what they want to do and how they want to go about this and how they want to treat you. And when you join the Players Club and you're better able to decipher and decode all of those actions, then everything becomes very, very clear to you, whether he's the man of your dreams or whether he's one of those garbage men. Okay? And you're not in a desperation state. You're also not in a state where you're feeling that it's necessary to beg him to be something. That's the other thing that will happen if you're not approaching your relationships from a detached standpoint, is that anytime you meet any one of these garbage men, you'll be so desperate to make them the man of your dreams. Out of one of these garbage men, you'll be like, I need a perfect man of my dreams that does this, or treats me like this, or takes me out, or is consistent with me, or is respectful to me. You're not doing that, but I need you to be the man of my dreams. So I need you to change this. Text me more often. Call me when you say you're gonna call me. I need you to ask me out on dates consistently. I need you to show up for me as the man that you say that you wanna be for me. I need you to do that. I need you to turn into the man of my dreams, but it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. Because even when you beg and you plead for that, and maybe one of these garbage men shows you one or two qualities that you wanted out of the man of your dreams. He showed you that because you begged and you pleaded for that. So it was more like a guilt trip, or it was more like a pity present. Okay, like charity, that he gave that to you because of how much you were begging for it, but you still end up confused. Because then when you receive some of those things in small doses, but then he goes back to treating you how he wanted to treat you in the first place, you're now really confused because you're like, wait, but I thought we were doing a thing where you're serious about this. And I thought we were doing a thing where you're actually going to show up for me properly. Why are you going back to doing what you were doing before? That's because that's how he actually wanted to treat you and how he actually wanted to go about the relationship. But you wanted him to be the man of your dreams, and you were attached to that outcome, like we talked about in our previous point. And because of how attached you are to that outcome, you need this to be the way that your relationship is. Instead of just acknowledging that, no, this isn't the man of my dreams. This is just one of those garbage men. Okay? And not because I'm making you or forcing you to be a garbage man. You chose to show up for me like a garbage man, with your intentionality, with your consistency, with the amount that you care, or in this case, don't care. And that's okay. Because like I said, some men will disappoint you. And that's perfectly fine. All that means is that a man that maybe you at one point thought would be the guy that you're looking for, you realized he's not who you're looking for, but that is perfectly fine. You're not going to bat 100% from the field, and you're not going to marry the first person you match with on Hinge. It just doesn't work like that. But that's okay. You're always gaining experience, which is also why in dating people like this, from this mind frame and mind state, it's so great, because now when you're dating guys, you can allow yourself to be like, oh, it's okay for me to wait and pace myself and not just jump into things, because you might seem like you're really great at the beginning and seem like you're the man of my dreams, but you could also disappoint me. So I'd rather wait and be patient while I analyze and allow our relationship to grow to see if eventually you're going to turn yourself into one of these garbage men. And I'm perfectly fine with waiting, because I'm perfectly fine with either outcome. But what I'm not going to do is pretend as if you are the man of my dreams on the first couple of days that I meet you, all right? Which is definitely not good. We don't want that for you at all. Let's hop into our point number 5. You still with me, chat? I hope you're still with me. All right. I hope I spelled disappointment right after all that. Point number 5, okay? Super important. You know, I talked to you guys about this earlier in the show, and I think it's just such an important, I guess we could say, lesson when it comes to dating. You always want to be in a place where you are evaluating men. What does evaluating men look like? It means coming to your dating or talking stages with your already existing criteria of what you're looking for in a man. Excuse me. And at each and every milestone, let's say 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or as time is going on and as on an ongoing basis as you're dating men, you're continuing to check in on yourself and how things are going and say to yourself, is he reaching these particular checkpoints here, right? So for example, one of the checkpoints, right, is he consistently, let's just say, respectful? We can also say, does he stick to his word? Right? We can also add in here, is he reliable? When I ask something of him or he promises something to me. And all of the time, you're always checking in with yourself and in this relationship to say to yourself, okay, based on what I need out of a man and out of a relationship, a serious one with a man, am I seeing the things that are necessary to be in a long-term relationship with a man and the type of man that I'm looking for? Now, what I want you to actually detach yourself from, right, is the feeling, see, when you're in a place where you're living in a fantasy in your mind, what you're going to do is you're going to stop basing how you feel about a guy based on what he's actually done or hasn't done for you. Because when you're living in a fantasy, usually you're in that fantasy because you don't want to live in reality. Because if you were living in reality with the guy that you're with, it would be very obvious to you that you're wasting your time. However, being very meticulous about checking in with yourself and within your relationship of whether or not the guy that you like, because you like him a lot, is showing up for you in all of the different ways that you expected a man to show up for you. And actually, see, this is the thing that I should add here, right? Actually being able to have a clear, let me write it all down. Being able to have a clear, concise example for yourself to be able to, on an ongoing basis, remind yourself, hey, I was looking for a man who is respectful, okay? Not that that has to be him or that has to be anyone in particular, but I was looking for that. And on an ongoing basis, you need to remind yourself, do I have examples of him actually being that to me on a regular and consistent basis? Like, can I actually go back in my mind and actually think to myself, Has he shown up for me in the way that I expect a man that I need in a serious relationship to show up for me? Not do I wish he would, or do I imagine that one day he could possibly be that? No. Has he actually been that for a consistent basis, right? Same thing here. If I know that I need a man who can stick to his word, so when he says he's going to do something with me or for me, he actually does that thing. Do I have real life examples in our relationship of him doing that? If my answer is no, or if I start fumbling and stumbling and saying, well, he's been busy, well, he's been doing this, well, no. Do you got examples of the things that you said you needed and him actually doing those things lately? Okay, I'm not talking him doing it 1 year ago or 3 years ago or 10 years ago. Has he done this for you lately? If you can't off the top of your head think of an example of recently, then it probably isn't very lately. And the reason that I say this is because this is part of the evaluation process that you must go through with any man that you're dating, and you cannot attach yourself to the idea that, hey, I like this guy a lot. So rather than actually looking for a constant evaluation, I'll just base how I go about this relationship or how long I allow myself to be in this relationship or invest here based on how good I feel about him and the vibes. Because the vibe will always feel to you like it's right to stay here if you feel like I want to like this guy. Okay? Saying to yourself, I want to like this guy, so I'll like him because of how much I want to like him is not actually going to help you in your relationships. And sometimes you can end up self-sabotaging your ability to find a good relationship because you choose men that you just want to like rather than men that you can evaluate and really honestly tell yourself that, yeah, he's showing up for me how I expect a guy to show up for me. Choosing guys based on just the fact that you like them and they can fit your fantasy, right, doesn't necessarily mean that he's at all the guy that you're actually looking for or want in a relationship. And it doesn't actually necessarily mean that you're going to receive the treatment that you actually want or are looking for in a relationship. So on an ongoing basis, when you date men, regardless of who the man is, I don't care how nice his smile is, I don't care how long his schlong is, I don't care how deeply he penetrates you, I don't care how many gasms he gives you, okay? You're consistently gathering information and evaluating, is he who I'm looking for? I'm not just going to be in the business of liking guys just because I feel like liking guys. I want to like the guys who show up for me how I expect a guy to show up for me. And I detach myself from it being any one person. It just has to be the person that fits my criteria. And once that person shows up in my life, I will know that it's that person because they show up for me this way. Are you following me? Okay? There's a difference here between dating someone and saying, hey, I like you, so I want you to fit the mold of the things that I'm looking for, versus saying, I like anyone who will fit my qualities and character traits that I need in the man that I'm going to be with, okay? I don't have a picture in my mind of who that's going to be. I don't have a picture in my mind of what they're going to look like or how tall they are or what country I'm going to meet them in. No. None of that matters. What matters is he going to show up for me in these ways? Does he have these qualities? Does he have these character traits, right? And I'm not saying that some of those can't be physical, like you want a guy who's tall or whatever the case may be. But what I'm saying is you don't want to attach yourself that, hey, it's this guy. I don't know him yet. I haven't really gotten to know him. I've only dated him for a couple of days, but I'm sure it's this guy because I want it to be this guy. No. When it's actually that guy, you're going to know it's that guy because every single one of these checkpoints, you'll be able to say, yeah, I wanted a guy who was respectful. He actually has been respectful. And there's an example of that because of when he did this and this and this. I wanted a guy who was going to stick to his word. I have examples of that from when he did this, this, and this. I wanted a guy who was going to be reliable. I have examples of that from when he did this, this, and this. And then that's how you know. After going through all of these different checkpoints that, oh my God, I've actually found the man of my dreams. Not because I wanted to or wanted it to be him, so to speak, right? It's because he actually met all of these different criteria that I had, all right? And like I said earlier, when you do this way, and when you when you date from a detached standpoint this way, one, it makes you so much easier to receive. Are you following me? from men because you're in more of your feminine energy when you're allowing men to show up for you this way. It also gives the men, when you're detached like this, space to actually choose to show up for you and be more intentional with you and take more initiative around you rather than you wanting things to work how you want them to work and forcing men to be who you want them to be when they were never intending to be that. And both of you end up frustrated, okay? All right. Does that make sense to all of you so far? Now, do you guys have any questions about the 5 things that we just discussed here in the show? Okay. Yeah, I'll answer any questions about anything that you guys have questions about. All right. Let's hop into our super chat donations in the YouTube chat because I am live on TikTok and YouTube and I see you guys donated a lot in the YouTube chat, in both chats actually. So thank you all for all of the donations. Olga donates 20 euros. She says, "Hi, Tommy, your lessons are truly invaluable. Thank you for your generosity and sharing them." Thank you so much, Olga. I really appreciate you. Oh, thank you to Olivia B, who just donated Coral, a nice big gift in the TikTok chat as well. I really appreciate that. Tracy Niles donates $20. She says, "Love you and love your show. Love my playettes." Thank you so much, Tracy Niles. I love you too, and I appreciate you and all your donations and participation. Kayla L donates $10. Thank you so much, Kayla L. And thank you for yesterday's donation as well. You donated a bunch of money yesterday. You donated like $70 in one show. So I really appreciate that from you, Kayla L. Back-to-back donations, okay? All right. I want to make sure that I answer some of your questions about this show today because it's very important and prevalent to me that you guys aren't confused, all right? Andrea says, "Can a garbage man change later and come back correct?" Theoretically, anyone can change, all right? And this is the thing when it comes to men and change, because I know a lot of you have this question about men and can they change, will they change, and will they come back different? The reality of it is, yes, men can change. It's very true. They can. But they're not going to change because of something you do or don't do, unfortunately. They're going to change because of their desire to change their own situation. So as strange and as weird and as selfish as this will sound, they're going to change because it benefits them. They're not going to change for any reason other than they think it's necessary to change in order to see something different in their life. So, for example, if let's just say a guy is going out into the world and he's a lazy soy boy, super lazy, just sits around, plays video games, he's broke, lives with his mom in the basement, dirty and disgusting, all right? And this is what he's about. He goes out into the world, and every time he tries to talk to a girl or every time he has a girl that he likes, he loses that girl to a guy who has a Ferrari and a fast car. He has a nice watch. He wears nice clothes. He looks handsome, clean shaven, charismatic, all that good stuff. And every time he talks to a girl, he loses her to a guy like that. What happens is a guy will then say, okay, if I want women and I want beautiful women, I have to change the way I act. I have to go get a job. I have to go get some resources. I have to start doing things so that I have to start changing my life, I should say, in order to see a different result in my dating life here, okay? If I want the woman to be attracted to me, I have to have something to offer them. I can't just be a guy on the street with nothing to offer. Still living in my mom's basement, right? Or something like that. So I say that to say men will change when they feel it's necessary because they need some sort of change result. And unfortunately, men don't just change because you want them to change. But with you, they might change if they realize, hey, I'm actually going to lose her or I've actually lost her, which is exactly why you'll notice that whenever in any ex that you've had or anything like that, the guy seemed to be the most willing to make all the adjustments that you wanted him to make when you were actually over the relationship. It's not an accident because that's when men actually realize that they have lost out on that girl. They realize everything that they're losing with losing out on that girl. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, now it's actually necessary for me to change. Like really necessary for me to change. Which is why I always advise you all to withdraw from men whenever you want to see them make a change. Because that withdrawal is the only thing that men understand of, oh, okay, actually now I need to make a change if I want to continue getting her love and attention. Okay, guys like attention too. If they feel like you're going crazy, that still feels like attention and it still feels like love to them. If they feel like you're on their body and watching them like a hawk, that still feels like attention and love. So they never make a change because why would it be necessary? They want to continue feeling attention and love from you. So when you act crazy and you beg them and you plead them and you call them 24 times and you message them 84 times, they're just like, perfect. Now I'm never going to make a change. I'll just continue to do the same thing over and over again. Okay? A Girl's World says, do you recommend voicing the issue before removing yourself or just removing? I'll actually be honest with you. That depends on your relationship with the guy. Whenever it is a guy who, let's say, that's not your boyfriend and hasn't really been showing up for you consistently how you expect the guy to show up for you, my advice is to just remove yourself. The reason for that is whenever you're communicating your problems, you always have to be understanding of, am I communicating my issues or the things that I don't like to someone that even cares? Because sometimes, and I'm not trying to be mean, but sometimes as women, you can get in a place where you're over communicating and over explaining to a guy who doesn't even care about you or care about being in a relationship with you. So when you're over explaining how you're unhappy about this or unhappy about that, he's low-key like snickering and laughing at you because he's thinking, I don't even care about being your boyfriend. And you're telling me how you're disappointed because I'm not taking you out like a boyfriend. I don't give a damn about being a good boyfriend. I give a damn about getting access to what's in between your legs. And I give a damn about jackrabbiting myself inside of you. So as long as I can continue to show up at your place at 4 a.m. drunk off the Casamigos and the hen dog and jackrabbit myself inside of you, nothing else you're saying or complaining about matters to me. And I'm just telling you this as the honest truth because that's just how guys work. So sometimes you have to realize, what is our relationship status and how much is he even invested in my happiness? Obviously, a boyfriend or a husband is invested in your happiness. So the way you communicate with him and the way you would withdraw from him will be slightly different. With the men that you're not dating, and especially the men that you just met that haven't shown themselves to really be invested in you at all, I would just advise complete withdrawal until he comes to you and asks you what's wrong. Even with the men that you're dating and you're married to, I would also advise withdrawal in a slightly different way, but withdrawal from the standpoint of allowing him to ask you what's wrong and be wondering how he can fix it or make it better. It's always a better, more receptive place for men to come to you and try and be willing to fix your problem rather than for you to be over-explaining, over-communicating, and they haven't even asked you what your problem is or seem to care about your issue. All right? Does that make sense? Lily says, can you go from wifey to not wifey, back to wifey to... Wait, what? To not wifey and back to wifey again? I mean, theoretically you can, but if you're in a situation like that, my advice to you is just stop wasting your time. Because if you're on a roller coaster where you're his girlfriend and then not his girlfriend, and then that means you're getting downgraded. Anytime you get downgraded, it's only a win for the guy because he's getting things from you, emotional investment, a lot of times girlfriend treatment, and most of the time, honestly, loyalty, while he goes about and he gets to go about his own business, and then he has a ready-made excuse. Oh, we're not together. Or I was confused about whether we were together or not, Right? Someone says he was respectful, stuck to his word, and was reliable. How about that? Now in no contact. If you're ever in no contact with a guy, let's just assume the no contact is stemming from just issues you've been having in the relationship about him not showing up for you properly, okay? In a general sense, I always advise in no contact, you allow men to reach out to you. Because if you don't allow the men to reach out to you, one of two things will happen. Either, let's say you reach out to him, you guys will start talking again and go back into your relationship, and he'll start to resent you because he didn't make that choice, and he feels like he never really wanted this. Or what will happen is maybe he'll cheat on you or he'll do whatever or start treating you badly. And then his excuse will be ready-made and built in. And he'll say, oh, I never even wanted to get back with you. I only got back with you because blah, 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 blah. Or what might also happen, it's like a 2B, you'll end up in a place where he's kind of with you, but then you find out he's not very serious. And then when you confront him about being not very serious, he'll be like, well, I never really wanted to be in a relationship again anyways. I just went along with it because you were the one reaching out to me. I know it sounds strange, but it does happen a lot. And if you don't allow men to reach out to you and come to you whenever that no contact is existing, they will always confuse you and then turn around and say, oh yeah, I'm confusing you because you didn't even give me a chance to think about what I wanted, okay? To be honest with you, right? Someone says, did I miss the detachment part? Oh, by the way, sorry, I didn't mention this to you all. Those of you who are watching me on TikTok, let's say you came late or you missed some of the points, go onto my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is just above my head on the top right corner of the screen. Tomisin Atobatele. Just type in my first name, Tomisin. When you go onto my YouTube page, I'm live there at the same time as I'm live on TikTok. So if you missed any of the points and you want to rewatch them, you can always rewatch it on the TikTok page, or not TikTok page, on my YouTube page, and it'll be there in full for you. So don't worry if you missed any of the points that we discussed here. You can go all on YouTube and rewatch them all right? If that makes sense. By the way, I know some of you are here, you have lots of questions, lots of things you want me to respond to, lots of situations with the guy and this and that. I have a 24/7 hotline for those of you who have like a detailed specific question and a specific situation that obviously I'm not going to be able to answer everyone's question here in the live stream. So this hotline is dedicated to people who are serious about getting their question answered from me, because obviously I respond to all of those people who submit their question that way. So this hotline, if you want to ask your question, is available in my link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. And you go to where it says private relationship question. When you click that, you'll be able to type out your entire question, as many paragraphs as you want in detail, and then I'll respond to you with a voice message. Obviously, you hear my voice now, so you'll know it's actually me. And I'll respond to you with a detailed understanding and advice to you on how you should proceed, or what my perspective is if it's about a guy or something like that. Does that make sense? So for those of you who want access to that hotline and you want to be able to ask me a personal question and you want to be able to get my advice on it, right? I will answer that in the private relationship advice link there. That's in my TikTok bio or in the link in my description. So any of you that want to ask a question that way, you can. We also have our Discord time at the end of the show, which is coming very soon. Okay, it's going to be in our last segment, which I'll be answering questions live on the show. And that way you can also ask me a question and it can be read on the show as we're here live reacting and responding to each other. Okay. Pele says, is this hotline new? No, it's the same link here. I'm just describing it as a hotline because it kind of is a hotline, right? Because you can message it 24/7 hours a day, and I will respond, not instantly, but I will respond as soon as possible. It doesn't take me more than 7 days, and I'm pretty caught up now, so the system is pretty good. It usually doesn't take me more than 5 days, to be honest with you. But definitely do that, because a lot of people do that, and a lot of people have been getting some great, I guess we could say, testimonials and advice that way, and been able to proceed in their relationships way better. Okay, I'm gonna start posting some of the reactions there, because people tell me a whole bunch of stuff. They be sending me paragraphs. This was so great. This is amazing. It was so much work, so worth the money and things like that. So I like it. It's good. It's good. I like helping people. All right. So let's hop into our next segment of the show here. Our next segment is our React segment. Our React segment is where all of you send me in TikTok videos from around the universe, and I respond and react to them. We have conversation about them here and on the show, and it's real fun. We have a lot of fun, okay? So we're gonna start that up in our next segment, our React segment. Spam up your headphone emojis, spam up your camcorder emojis, spam up your baby oil emojis. We're filming this in 4K Diddy style, all right? And we're gonna hop into that next segment. While we do that, we're gonna have a little bit of an intermission video because I have to clean up the board and bring my chair in. You're not gonna watch me do that. So we're gonna watch an intermission video which comes from Natasha Swan. She says, watch this if the guy you want a relationship with doesn't want you. Okay, so we're gonna watch that, and then I'm gonna join you guys back in a moment, okay? Natasha Swan, please take it away.
The guy of your dreams, the guy that you love, just said all of a sudden that he just wants to prioritize his life. He just wants to focus on himself and he doesn't want the relationship right now. And most likely your heart is broken into thousands of little pieces and you feel like shit. Can I ask you a simple question? Since when your value and your self-esteem became attached to male's attention? Why does other men affect your self-esteem? Self-esteem. Self-esteem. It's your value. You decide how valuable you are because it's your self-esteem. It's self-esteem. When you decide and estimate your own self. You know what's the problem? Whenever you go and see yourself in a mirror, you do not see your achievements, how hard you worked, where you are at the moment, and how much you grow. And you never ever look in a mirror and you say, you know what? I'm freaking proud of you. I'm proud of you for who you are and how much you worked and how much you grow and how much you do in this life. You want other people, especially men, look at you and admire you and tell you the compliments and tell you how proud they are of you. And that is literally your drug, because whenever you hear that from other people, you want to live, you want to fly, you're so inspired, you're so happy, but that is so freaking dangerous. Do you understand how dangerous that is? You literally put your heart in such a dangerous position so that your whole life you will only feel valuable and appreciated and loved whenever other people decide if they need you in their life or not. But what about you? Why don't you need yourself? Why don't you appreciate yourself? Why don't you see who you truly are? Like, what's your deal? Everything in life changes. Home where you live changes. People around you change. Your friends change. Your education change. Your work change. But one thing that doesn't change, it's this. And whenever one person decides that he doesn't want you in their life, you literally forget about everything you are and you put yourself in a garbage can. Who are you? Wake up. That's not you. I know you. I know your true self and how strong you are. I know how much love you have inside of your heart. I know how much you care about people. Then just simply start giving the same love that you give to this person to yourself. Imagine how much you would grow. Imagine how much you will achieve if you just simply start giving this abundant love that you give to other people to yourself. You know what's the secret how to leave someone without getting addicted to them and not being broken and just move on with your life and be a happy person? Is to be excited about your life. Is to have your own life. Period. When you're addicted to someone, your best friend, your partner, your mom, or your dad, or your family, is because living their life is more interesting for you than living your own. Because you don't have anything in your life, you're just so lazy to get up and ask yourself a simple question. What am I about? What do I actually love? Do I want to go there? I know it's easier when someone tells you, oh, we're going to fly there, we're going to do this, we're going to go here, I'm going to order this food. It's easier. Of course, it's comfortable when someone decides for you, but it's a childish position. You're not a child anymore. You know why it's exciting to be an adult? Because an adult has responsibilities, an adult has power, an adult has resources. When you're a kid, you don't have any of that. So back to being excited about your life. Whenever you break up with someone or you have to remove someone from your life, you have two choices. One is to kill yourself and start punishing yourself and start blaming yourself for things that you didn't do, just literally like kill yourself from the inside. Or you can sit down and be like, hey, I'm there for you. Yes, right now I will have to remove that person from my life, but I'm not leaving you. I'm here for you. I'm gonna take care of you. Just literally hug yourself and be like, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here for you. Okay, you wanna cry right now? Cry. I'm here for you. You want to scream? Scream. Just please don't hide from your emotions. Don't hide from your feelings and emotions, because you will 100% develop some sort of addiction like binge eating disorder or drugs, God forbid, or smoking or alcohol, because that's how people who are scared of their emotions, who cannot process their emotions on their own, that's how they process their emotions. And how do I know that? I was struggling with binge eating disorder for almost a decade. I was so scared of my emotions that I needed something to help me process them.
Okay, thank you, Natasha Swan, for your beautiful video. For those of you who are wondering who she is and where you can find her, I'm gonna put you guys on right now because I don't even want to be stingy like that. Let me go ahead and click on that video. Let me see here. Let me see here if I can pull that up for you guys. Oh, it won't let me pull it up. But anyways, her name is Natasha Swan, spelled N-A-S-T-Y, Natasha. I think she's Swedish. I don't know. Natasha Swan, N-A-S-T-Y, Swan like the bird. Okay, so that's her handle on YouTube if you guys want to watch the rest of that video. Let's start off with our first clip here.
Shocked when they find out that you are with someone else. Now, guys, remember, when people break up with you, they make decisions based on what they're feeling. Okay? Doesn't mean they're gonna feel the same way in a year or two from now. Will give you excuses that you cannot argue when they break up with you. They say, I need to work on myself. I need a break. Just know they want to explore. That's one of them. They either want to explore or they're going into a rebound relationship. Just know that this rebound was already in the picture. Subconsciously, they think that they can just come back after the rebound because you were begging for them and you were validating them, okay, after the breakup. They know how much you want them. They've made a decision based on what they're feeling. They don't think you're gonna find someone else. They think that you are going to crumble. This is why I say to people, are you succeeding in no contact or are you crumbling in no contact? People work with me. I like to keep people low key, to not post, do not do this. This is what you gotta do. Do you wanna get in their head? This is what you gotta do. Your ex's limerence will end, okay, when they find out that you have someone else. If you have someone that's equally attractive or even more attractive, if they say they don't care, guys, exes will be lying. Okay, so just understand that. I've had my clients say to me, James, I broke no contact. I'm gonna have a few words to them. They underestimated you. They underestimated you, how you can.
If any of you tell me that you had an ex that treated you badly, and then you go on to tell me that you now answered them and you went to go hang out with them, I'm gonna scold you. I'm gonna yell at you. I'm gonna yell at you a lot. Okay.
Bounce back, because remember, a lot of people don't think you can bounce back. They think that you're going to crumble. If you love this video, follow for more.
Exes are a very interesting thing because they're the easiest to fall back on, but you can easily see, like I always tell you guys, when it comes to exes and allowing them to, especially guys, to come back into your life after, let's just say, the relationship didn't work out, the mistake is thinking that you guys are working together towards something, or you guys are both benefiting from getting back into this relationship, when in reality, if an ex now gets ongoing access to you while still being an ex and not actually committing himself to you, you're not winning at all. In fact, you're losing, like, all the ways around. You're actually losing a lot. And the reason you're losing is because you're downgraded now. He gets the ready-made excuse to be able to go out into his life and date who he wants, talk to who he wants, invite over to his place whoever he wants. And while he's doing that, if you ever were to catch him, if you ever were to see what he's doing, if you ever were to realize that he's got other situations going on, when you call him out, you know what he's going to say? Oh, well, we weren't together. And then what's your response going to be? But me and you, but nothing. Now you've literally just given the man that you're obviously still in love with, still care about, and still want to be with, you've given him a ready-made excuse that you can't argue with, that he is allowed to not just have one free pass, but a free pass to do whatever he wants. And now when you call him out on it, there's no reason for him to ever have to take accountability. So that's why I say that's like shooting yourself in the foot. You've lost all your leverage, and now you're in love with the man who can do whatever he wants, and you can never call him out. So it's like the worst of every world. So when you think about it, no one is actually winning except for him. Yeah, and you're losing in every way outside of that.
Get ready with me while I tell you the signs to know if your man is DL or gay. The first red flag is if your man is more into booty than your cooter, that's a red flag. Girl! The second red flag.
Oh, Have you ever, chat, you know what? I'm going to ask you. Have you ever had a guy who's more into being in your butt? I'm not talking about more into your butt. I mean being in your butt, the hole, than your actual, like, you know, the one that's supposed to be lubricated. That's quite strange to me. That's quite strange to me. A lot of you are saying yes. Is that a thing? Oh my God. Oh my God. Is that really a thing? Like, guys are really into it that much? Oh man, I must be a different type of guy. I don't know in what world that could be more enticing. Okay.
Is if you go through his phone and you see on his Instagram that he likes more boy pictures than girl pictures, girl, that's a red flag. Our ex or whatever that boy uses, you better go do a deep dive on that phone. Okay, girl? Period.
What? Okay, that one, I think that one's a little bit misguided just because, okay, like he can, so for example, guys that work out, they like to admire, I guess we could say admire, or look at other guys' aesthetics because they're comparing a guy's aesthetics to their own. It's like a male macho thing, but it's not necessarily meaning that the guy is down low. I don't think that male sexuality is that fragile that just because he looks at a guy's physique or something that he's down low. But I get what he's trying to say, but I don't think it's that simple.
My man's always hanging out with his homeboys and he leaves you for his homeboys, then there's an issue because he shouldn't be leaving you for nobody. My man
that doesn't at all mean that he's down. That doesn't even in the slightest mean that he's down low. That could mean so many different things other than being down low. In fact, majority of the time, it means he's a healthy, regular man. Okay, being him enjoying being with his boys over spending time with you as a woman, that doesn't mean anything. I don't know what he's talking about there.
Make you pay the bill, he gay. Man constantly feels the need, he
What?
gay. Be leaving you for nobody. My man make you pay the bill, he gay. Man constantly feels the need to call something gay or feels really uncomfortable around gay people. Baby, that's because his booty is gay. And if your man got this shit in his phone, he got any of these apps in his phone, girl, you better.
What is this? Chat, what is this? Oh, these, okay. What the hell? I mean, okay. Yeah, I mean, if someone has it's a gay dating app or a gay chat app. Yeah, I mean, that's, okay, whatever.
The gays and the DLs got sneaky now, okay? Let me tell y'all girls, now they can hide the app. So if you see any of these icons on his phone, baby, that is a dating app, okay? So y'all better run for the hills. I hope I caught up some DL men. Dante Onika the burger ate up another one. Get ready with me while I tell
Did he say Dante Onika?
DL men. Dante Onika the burger ate up.
Onika is Nicki Minaj's real name, right? Right. Let's go on to our next one.
What are the signs that he or could be on the DL? A lot of guys probably are these days. So the best sign to look out for if he's on the DL, he dresses better than you. That's number one.
Where are they? Okay. I get it. They're content creators. They're trying to give you some advice that could possibly work in some scenarios, but just because a guy like, and this is also subjective too, because think about it like this. If you just hypothetically, if you dress really bummy and a guy just dresses average and that's dressing better than you, does that mean he's DL because he dresses better than bummy? Not really necessarily. I think also, I don't know Shira obviously, but I'm getting a sense, and let me know for those of you who watch Shira a lot, if you do, tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong. I could be completely off. I get a sense she doesn't like pretty boys. For whatever reason, I'm not going to make a judgment or assumption of why or why not, but I have a feeling she does not like pretty boys. That's not her type. That's not the guy she likes to be around. Obviously she's married now, but I mean, even before being married, just in general, in the type of guy she picks, I feel like she tends to really just not choose pretty boys. And I feel like she has a little bit of a dislike for pretty boys. Because a lot of the videos or clips, I should say, I see of her, she's like, stay away from the pretty boys, pick the ugly man. I could be wrong, but I'm starting to get that vibe, which is perfectly fine. Everyone has their preference.
He's really meticulous about his style and his looks. He doesn't care about you as a person. He just cares about you as an accessory.
Okay, that actually means something. The caring about the style and the looks, I mean, that's like saying any good-looking guy is gay. That's a really crazy assumption to make, because then you're saying, oh, the only men I'm going to date are the ugly, disgusting men. Okay. Sure.
You know what I mean? They're not chasing you. When they're not chasing you, of course, when they always want to hang out with men more than they want to hang out with you. All right, when they're going on boys' trips a lot.
Okay. Did you guys send these to me to aggravate me? Because that's not what that's not what that means. Guys can like spending time with guys because they get to do guy things. So, okay, let me explain this to you a little bit easier for all of you to understand. You do realize guys will go and hang out with their boys to go out and run plays. That's how we call it, plays with other girls. So it's don't have it in your mind that guys like to be around guys because they just like to sit with each other with their shirts off and hug each other. That's not what they're doing. A lot of times they're going out with each other to make plays or plots on other girls. Oh, there's a 3 group here. There's a 2 group here. We're going to go out to the club. We're going to buy bottles to be around more girls, to do this with girls, to do let's be for real. The guys aren't hanging out with each other or going on boys trips to sit around and just play video games with each other. Okay. A lot of it's centered around going out, seeing girls, spending time with girls, having fun together. Yes. But whatever. Nobody gets it.
When they want to hurry and introduce you to their family so that their family doesn't get a hint and a clue that they're gay. So yes, that we're not being loyal to anyone who doesn't appreciate us anymore. That's over. That's done. That's something from the old days. No, I ain't doing it. I try to see from y'all perspectives a lot. So when I say I'm not doing it, I'm literally saying y'all shouldn't be doing it because I'm already married. I'm already good. But like if I were out there with y'all, oh heck no, I ain't finna do that. Not this day and age.
Yeah, I get the sense that Shira doesn't. She's not a fan of pretty boys. I feel like when she sees a guy who looks too good to her, she's like, hell nah, I'm not even going to talk to that man or even bother with that man. Tell me, is that a thing for some of you? Do you feel like that when you see a guy who looks too good or too, I guess we could say pretty, you're just like, nah, I'm not even going to bother talking to him or anything like that? I'm curious if that's a thing.
Should you reach out to him on Christmas? Well, yes, you should.
Also, I want to
Yes, you should.
Sorry, I know to pause this here, but I want to ask you all specifically, what would you define as a pretty boy? What are the traits that a pretty boy will possess that actually would make him pretty versus just being a handsome man? Because I feel like everyone has a slightly different understanding of a pretty boy versus a handsome man, because I'm assuming most of you like handsome men, but what's the difference between a pretty boy and a handsome man, right? Like what would make him a pretty boy in that sense? Like give me real actual traits or things that he would wear or how he would look or dress or something, right? I want to see.
Because you should be putting your best foot forward so you can move forward with very little to no regrets over in this mother effer. See, because if he likes you ladies, he's tripling down. He's coming back, doubling the block, tripling the block, saying, yup. So what? What do you care? You either lead with love or you lead with fear. And a lot of you are leading with fear. You want to know how interested he is? Start to show him mama interested. You'll see real quick. If he don't triple down on that ass, let her go. Let it go like you caught a fish. You're ready to let it bounce. Get back into the habitat. Okay? You don't have to take this thing so seriously. Minimize regrets. Put best foot forward. If he don't like who you are and the way you want to show interest, then let his motherfucking ass go. I'm sick of your excuses. Because inevitably, you're really just delaying the inevitable. The longer you do, I don't know if I should. I can make the argument he should, but that's not my argument. I don't know what the fuck's going on in his life. But I'll tell you one thing. If you don't start putting your best foot forward, somebody else will. And you might live in regret a little bit and say, damn, I wish I would have just put my heart out here. And then say, you know what, I'm going to put my heart out. And I'm not going to put it in his hands for him not to drop. Nope. I'm going to put it in his and everybody else's hands because I know I have confidence in myself enough. I'll be able to pick up the pieces. I can deal with it moving forward because I'm leading with love up in this bitch.
Okay, if that's Benny's answer, that's fine. My advice to you is to don't. Okay? Now, I'm saying don't reach out to him on Xmas. If you're in a situation where there's some sort of no contact going on, or you're in a situation where you're just unsure of what the relationship is at this very moment, and you're trying to think to yourself, should I reach out, should I not on Xmas or during the holidays, wish him Happy New Year, wish him happy whatever, don't. Okay? Me personally, you joining my show, I do not advise you to do any reaching out or any nudges to men, especially the men who have shown that they either have some sort of disinterest in you or they just don't have enough interest that they would be bothered to send you messages or consistently communicate with you. If a man is showing you that, you allow him to show up for you how he wants to show up for you. I'm not sure, Benny's not a bad guy, but I'm not sure why he constantly gives the advice that women should take initiative without actually ensuring that the guy has real interest there. Because you're going to take a lot of initiative thinking that you're doing something, but it's going to force a lot of the men in your life that you're essentially pursuing, to just be like, thanks for taking the initiative. I'll go ahead, and if you want to give me something, or you want to, you know, do the most for me, I'll let you do the most, but I'm not actually going to take you serious. So then what's the point? You'll just get drained of your energy. Okay. I see some of you guys talking about the looks. LP Baby says feminine features like tighter jeans, overly groomed, eyebrows too done, too many accessories, long hair. They're more European nose. What is a European nose? Soft hands, thin, not as much muscle. Okay, right? Interesting, right? So I think a lot of you guys have a slightly, I've seen the eyebrows thing a lot. I've seen some of you saying like too clean cut. What does too clean cut mean? I don't know, right? Very interesting. Someone said if he smells better than me. But let me ask you a question. So, okay, if that is pretty, I'm a little bit confused. What is the difference between being pretty and being handsome? Because a lot of you described some things that I would consider a guy, you would say about a guy who's handsome, right? Being well-groomed. I would assume that kind of comes across as handsome also. Having good taste in clothes, I would assume that comes across as being handsome also. So I'm a little bit confused. What's handsome and what's just pretty? How can they really be that different? Or someone says overly well-groomed. What is overly well-groomed though? I'm a little bit. I want you guys to explain, what does overly well-groomed mean? Like, how can you be groomed but overly well-groomed? Like, you shave, but you shave so good that it's a clean shave? Or your haircut is crisp, but it's so crisp that it's too crisp? What is I want to understand what the difference is. Lainey says, I feel like handsome is more fit, chiseled. All right. Go listen to Kendrick and SZA 30 of 30. Interesting. When they powder their face more than you. I mean, if he's putting on makeup, yeah. Handsome with his figures, pretty his look and manners. Right. For instance, Benny is not a pretty boy. Okay, but I'm confused. Is he not well groomed? I'm a little bit confused. Is Benny not well groomed? Would you guys not? I mean, he's not clean shaven, but he looks clean. He doesn't look dirty. I don't understand. Okay, so answer me a question. Frick, let's do this right now. You know what? Because we're in the React segment. I don't give a damn. All right, there's no structure to this. We can do whatever we want. Let's get this down here.
Real world interaction with your man. You can't bag him because you're not interacting with him in person. The double back Bonnie. You're not doing the double back Bonnie.
Timothy Chalamet. Chat. We need to come to a consensus. Is Timothy Chalamet?
Timothy Chalamet.
Okay, we need to get a consensus here. I want to find a good.
Why is there a symbol over the E?
5 seconds ago.
Timothy Chalamet is an actor. I want to see his face properly. Is Timothy Chalamet, is he a pretty boy, or is he is he just handsome? Let me get a good shot of him here. Okay? He's an actor. He's a famous actor. I need to find a good video of him that you guys can actually see him. Okay, there's a better one. He's an actor. He's like, he's like this era's Leonardo DiCaprio, okay? For like the younger generation. Is he considered a pretty boy, or is he considered a handsome man? Pretty, okay? Handsome, he doesn't have pretty features? Well, I'm confused. Physically only pretty, cute. He's pretty. Austin Butler is a pretty boy? Okay, wait, because now you guys aren't making any sense to me. Hold on. You guys can't say, if you think Timothy Chalamet is pretty, okay, tell me. Let's make some comparisons here. Okay, we'll do Austin Butler. He's another actor. Is Austin Butler pretty, or is he handsome? Let's get some sort of consensus going on here. Let me do a recent one of him. Okay. Let me see here. Austin Butler. He's an actor. Is he pretty or handsome? Because I need to understand this. He's pretty. So you guys think he's the same as Timothy Chalamet? Okay. Is it because he's really clean? Like, because he's obviously well shaven, and but he still has a jawline. But this is my thing. Are you guys thinking that is it so? For example, I'm trying to see. Maybe there's a video of him with a beard. Is it because he has a clean face? Like, okay, now with he has a little bit of a goatee going on here. Is it still pretty, or is this now more handsome simply because he has a bit of a goatee? Because now I'm starting to feel like you guys are describing pretty just as being clean shaven. Does this make a difference to any of you, or is it still pretty even though that he has a goatee? Okay, I see some of you saying, oh, it's handsome. More handsome, right? So that's interesting to me because it seems like a lot of you might be associating. Some of you might be associating the prettiness with being clean shaven. Okay. Okay. That's a good one. Someone just brought up a good one. We'll do that one. Okay. We'll do Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill now, because sometimes Henry Cavill be going clean shaven, but he's a more meaty man. Okay. He's like my size. He's like 6'3". So Henry Cavill, wait, let me find one. Was Superman. Is he pretty or is he handsome? Which one is he? Okay. Because he has a slightly different physique. So I'm trying to understand, is it a physique thing? Okay. So you guys are saying he's handsome. So give me the actual traits though. Now, since everyone's in agreement that he's handsome, not pretty, give me the traits that make him handsome instead of pretty. Because he's clean shaven like Austin Butler and like Timothée Chalamet. But obviously, actually, I won't say anything. You just tell me. What do you think is the reason? Some say jawline, but Austin Butler has a jawline too. That's the thing. See, because I don't like. You guys are saying that, but Austin Butler has a jawline. Timothée Chalamet has a jawline, right? More manly features, but what are the features that make him more manly? Tell me. Broader features. Okay, I can agree with that. He's got broader shoulders. He's a larger man, right? More larger man. Masculine maturity. His personality. No, let's go away from personality. I'm just talking like straight looks. It's the alpha aura. Build, sharp jawline, full eyebrows. But some of you said that the trimming. If you guys heard Henry Cavill trims his eyebrows, now how would you feel? Because before you guys were saying, doing their eyebrows is too feminine. Okay. He has a strong jawline, but his jawline's, I guess, a little bit more square. And he's also a larger man. So do you guys like larger men? Because that could also be a thing. Because I feel like some of you guys like larger men, which is what some of you are associating with because I want to see, there's a picture here of him as, yeah, he's like a larger man. He's like my size. He's 6'3", and he's like 200 and something pounds. Let me see if I have another picture of him. Like, this is him as Superman. So he's obviously a broad man. Now tell me, chat, I'm just curious. Obviously you saw him with the clean shave. Does the full beard, are you guys more attracted to that? Like, is that vibes for some of you? Or are you like, no, I like him when he's clean shaven? Like, I'm actually a little bit curious. This is actually very interesting to me. Seeing a man, this is the same man. This is him with this full beard and stuff. Is this more attractive to you when he's looking like this, or you liked him when he was clean shaven? Obviously, this is a movie, so he doesn't dress like this or look like this all the time. But just as a version of him, okay? Someone said this looks too aggressive. The body, well, let's assume his body is the same every time, right? But just in the face, do you like this almost like beard look? This really like, I guess we could say, not caveman, but almost like he's hunting out in the forest type of look. Must not look perfect, okay? Clean shaven. I see a lot of you saying you like the clean shaven. So the guy can be clean shaven and still handsome. He just has to have a certain type of look to him. Okay, so let me think. I'm trying to think of someone that might be right in between here. Okay, let's just even go. Let's even go here. Leonardo DiCaprio. Now, let's go Leonardo DiCaprio as he is currently, not as he was when he was younger, as he currently looks, I want to see here. What would you consider Leonardo DiCaprio? Obviously, he's a little bit older. Is he pretty or handsome? Not as he was as a kid, as a young heartthrob. I'm talking about how he looks now, pretty or handsome. I know he's a little bit older now. It's okay. We all age, right? Leo is feminine pretty. With this personality now, no. He's handsome. Wait, but see, here's the thing. Some of you that are saying handsome, this is kind of strange to me. Because Leonardo DiCaprio is the same person now. He's just a little bit older. And I see some of you saying handsome, but let's just pretend, right? Let's just pretend that this version of Leonardo DiCaprio is a different man. Now I want to ask you, is young Leonardo DiCaprio, is he pretty or handsome? Because now I have something very interesting to say. This is young Leonardo DiCaprio, so like maybe when he was like in his early 20s, okay? Is this pretty or handsome? Tell me in the chat. I'm very interested now. Okay? I see a lot of you saying pretty though. But some of you, it was like split 50-50. Okay, this is interesting. This will be our last one. But I'm interested now because it was 50-50 on Leonardo DiCaprio when I was showing you a version of him when he was older. He has a little bit of facial hair, but he's just a little bit older. His face structure hasn't changed that much. So what was making young version of Leonardo DiCaprio, obviously he's young here, so just take that in mind. But what's making him pretty here versus him being older and having essentially the same look, a similar look, it's not that different. But now all of a sudden some of you are saying he's handsome because it's the same man. Okay, he's older, no beard, clean cut. Okay, interesting. Okay, I'll take that into account. All right, we'll do a couple more. I won't get too distracted on this topic here, and we'll go back to what we were doing before. All right, I was just curious. Don't want to get too sidetracked here. All right, let's do a couple more of these here. Oops.
That likes you, there's one speed that he's gonna take. We don't want the whole love bombing thing, the whole promising you the world and we only met 2 days ago type of deal. Yeah, that ain't it. There's one speed a man's gonna take. So say if you met on a dating app or online, he's gonna get you off of it. So he's gonna get your personal contact, your number, whatever it may be. If you met in person, the same thing applies. All right, boom, there's gonna be a little chit chat back and forth, but he's gonna plan a date off rip. All right, let's fast forward. Y'all went on the date. It went smooth. It went great. No complaints. Now let's get to the communication. It's not going to be every single second of every single day. Y'all are just now getting to know each other. I know y'all went on a date, but let's pace things out. So you might hear from this man every day, maybe even every other day, but it's enough to keep you thinking that everything's going in the right direction. He's going to plan another date. He wants to see you again. So that following weekend, boom, y'all going on another date. And this cycle is going to repeat for at least a month. Little chit-chat, a date. Little chit-chat, a date. This isn't taking it slow. This is how things should be when you're first getting to know somebody. And y'all should be okay with this. You guys should avoid and see it as a red flag if there's date, constant communication, love bombing, I want to marry you tomorrow when we just met yesterday. That just don't make sense. Take this time to see how this man operates, how he moves, how he treats the people around him, how he treats his people, how he treats you. By now, communication should pick up and he should be fully committed to you.
I would also say, my own personal advice, more than 2 weeks though, is a little bit of a cutoff for me. So if a guy's pursuing you and he hasn't sent you any message or any sort of contact within 2 weeks, then I would honestly say move on, because at that point, the contact is so infrequent. I get it. Not everyone's going to be a huge texter, but the contact is so infrequent that it doesn't really make a lot of sense to continue a relationship in which you're talking to a guy once every 2 or 3 weeks. So just keep that in mind. There's a little bit of a balance there when men are pursuing you, but also in the opposite sense, don't be so impatient. I think he even said it. Don't be so impatient that you think it has to be like bang, bang, bang. He has to try and see you 7 days of the week, because that also will lead you to feeling love bombed and you won't even be able to analyze any information of what you're seeing from the guy. Okay, I don't want that for you either.
The more you do for a man, the less he wants to do for you. The more you consider a man's feelings, the less he considers yours. This is sad, but it's true. I know a lot of y'all weren't taught this because it don't even make sense, but it's just the truth. The less you pay attention to a man, the more attention he pays to you if he really likes you and if he wants to chase you and be a man and get your attention. Because men like a challenge and a chase. If you don't even give them the opportunity to chase and be a challenge, they get bored of you quick. Okay? It's easy pickings, easy pick-me's. Anybody can get a pick-me. That's not a flex. All right? That's why you got to make them work. That's why you got to make them impress you. That's why you got to keep your standards high, because they love the chase. The thrill of the chase, the thrill and the challenge is what they like, because they can go get pick-me shit every day of the week. They can have pick-me shit every day of the week, but they can't have you. That's what makes you special. That's what makes them want you more, because
I think that one of my specialties for you and how I can really help you in life is to get you in a situation where you meet a guy who does fit your criteria and you do like him. But with all the stuff that we talk about in the Players Club and all the strategies and things like that, I think that it would be so good for you to be in a position where you acknowledge that you like a guy and know and feel yourself liking him and wanting to be with him. But because you have such a clear understanding of all the strategies that go into presenting yourself in the most attractive way, you know that you have to allow a lot of emotional space for him also to like you. And when you're that smart and that intelligent, in dating, you can actually find guys that you really like. And rather than it being a situation where you really like him and he doesn't really like you that much, it can actually be a situation where you really like him. But because you know you really like him, you strategically plan and put in place all the strategies that we talk about to get him to also like you a lot. And then you end up in a situation where the guy that you really like ends up surpassing you and liking you more because you did all of those things right and you let him come to you. That, to me, would be my ideal situation and outcome for you. That you find a guy you like, and because of all the strategies you use, he gets to surpass you and like you more. And then you can be kind of like in a relaxed state where you don't have to feel on edge because of how badly you want this guy and how little he likes you. Instead of chasing after the guys that don't like you, and then all the guys that do like you, you're like, oh, I don't want those guys. You know what I mean? Right? I want that for you. That's what we're working towards for you, okay? All right. Let's hop into our next segment of the show. It's a very amazing time. It's a special time. It's a time where you're going to laugh and you're going to cry. This is so awesome. For those of you who don't know what's coming up, all of the OG Players Club members are going to explain to you what's coming up. It's so much fun. We have such a good time. And we go through some things. We go through some things in this segment. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at your clock. Don't look at your phone. Don't look nowhere else in your home. I'm actually really excited for this one today, okay? I don't know why. I feel like something's coming. If you don't know the time, I'm going to tell you the time. Discord time. Okay, chatting. Let's hop into our Discord segment of the show. This is awesome. I love this. I really do. Okay. This, for those of you who have no idea what's going on here, Discord time is where all the amazing members of the Players Club community get an opportunity to ask me a question about their situation or their situationship or their relationship, and I answer their question live on the show. Now, there are a couple different ways in which you can submit your question to me. I'm going to explain them all to you right now real quick. First way is to go to our free relationship advice forum, which is here available to you in the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. Click where it says Players Club Discord, and you can join the Discord and drop your question into our free relationship advice forum. Just make sure you format it like everyone else. But you see how I'm scrolling here with all these questions that are highlighted? These are questions I haven't yet opened or responded to. So I actually do have to go through all of these because it is a first come, first serve. Oh my God, a first come, first serve basis in the Discord. There's so many questions. And there are so many questions here. Even though the oldest one is 12 days, I have to go by the oldest question up until the most recent one. So if you send in your question here today, I'll be honest with you, it will take me a couple of weeks to get to your question in the free section. Now, for those of you who are impatient and you don't want to wait because you're not trying to wait weeks for your question to get answered or your situation to get answered, you have another option. I'm always thinking of you because I love you so much. You can also send in your question to our premium relationship advice section only if, though, this is the caveat, you have to go to the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. You go to where it says premium Discord relationship advice, click that, you donate to the show. And when you donate to the show, it's going to prompt you to put in your username, your Discord username, and the title of your question. I get a notification on my phone and I see that that's you and that's your question, and that I see the title that it matches, and I know that your question is supposed to be here. This way it keeps it fair to everyone, because in the premium section, all of these people in here, they get to skip the line of people. So I read these premium questions out before I read the free relationship advice forum out. And this is kind of like the benefit of being able to skip the line here if you don't want to wait for the long queue of people, okay? So you have options there. You can wait and do it for free. I'll still answer your question. It'll just take me some time. But if you want it right away, you can put it in here as well. Now, the third option is for those of you who want to get my advice on your situation, but you just don't want to have your information read out on the show. We also have a private relationship, hotline, I guess we can call it, where you can send in your question to me privately and I answer it via voice message and I send it back to you. It's usually around 8 to 10 minutes long, back to your email that you use to send in your question, okay? So it's very simple, very easy. You go into the link in my bio on TikTok, go into the link in my description on YouTube, click where it says private relationship advice. And then when you click that, all you got to do is just start typing in your question, and then you hit submit, and then it'll prompt you, okay, you want to send it in. Once you hit submit, and then I'll respond to you with the voice message, and it'll get sent back to that same email, okay? So it's a great option for those of you who want to keep your stuff private. No one else sees it except for me. Let's hop into our first question of the day here, which comes from X, okay? Hi, Tomisin. Thank you for answering my previous question. Don't worry, I didn't cancel on him or ask any questions about why we rescheduled. We went on that date and everything was nice. He spent $200 on dinner. He has a good job. And when we had a great time conversating after this date, he did the same thing where he texted when to meet for the next day and time. He said Saturday again. We don't usually meet for the next date and time. He said Saturday again. Oops, I read that twice. We don't text throughout the week, but on Thursday, he messaged about rescheduling again. I was a bit upset. He wanted to do it for a second time, but I didn't show that. I'll send the screenshot of the conversation, but this time he rescheduled for the next week Sunday. I told him it would be hard for me as I go back to work the next day. I should mention he lives about 2.5 hours away from me. The first date he came to my city. The second date he wanted to meet in the middle. I also mentioned to him how far this area is for me. Seoul. You're talking about Seoul, Korea. For me, it takes 2 hours. He was surprised to learn this. And for him, an hour since he can take a fast train there. Oh, so you're probably talking about Seoul, Korea. For the third date, he mentioned coming to my city again. As I told him the Sunday wouldn't work for me, we met on Friday instead. So it's not like he's just doing this to pee you off. He's being a little bit accommodating in terms of the times that work for you. Okay, so I don't think that that's a problem. His work schedule is a little bit complicated as his days off change. So you're kind of answering the question why he's doing this. You're actually, I know you're just giving me the facts here, but you're actually stating the perfect reason why he probably has to change dates on you. Like this makes a lot of sense now why he would have to do that. 1 week he has Friday and Saturday off. The next week he has Sunday and Monday off. It turns out this time he had Sunday and Monday off, which is why he wanted to meet on Sunday. But as I said, Friday, we met for a short time, and then he went to work for a night shift. The other thing you also have to factor in is that if his own work schedule is changing, then that means on a weekly basis, his own personal schedule changes. So he might make plans on certain things that he is doing based on the days that he knows he's going to have off. But maybe when he changes those days and he makes those plans, certain things might transpire and he can't do it on those days. And so his schedule has to be adjusted. I just say that to say, because he has a revolving, moving schedule for work, his personal life schedule is constantly going to be revolving and moving as well. So I just say that to say there's a lot of moving parts. At the end of this third date, he made a plan to meet Friday. He has a day off. However, I mentioned I have work, so we have to meet later. Perfectly fine. I don't know why he wouldn't pick Saturday since he has a day off then as well. Okay, you're being a little bit, you're hoarding a little bit. The reason I say that is because you're not entitled to his day off. Okay? I know you like the guy and you like vibing with him, but this is a third date. Okay? Meaning just because you might know or be able to anticipate his schedule, just because you know he has a Saturday off, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the day you deserve to spend with him, because that's the day you know he has off. I have to, you guys send me in a question. I'm not going to be your best friend. I'm going to tell you the real. So you dating a guy and you're on a third date don't mean that every day he has off, he's got to pick those days to spend with you. He can do whatever he wants with his time. He's allowed to do that. Okay. Also, Thursday, he hasn't said anything about Friday's date. I know I shouldn't have messaged, but I sent a message about the date shown in the screenshots. In conclusion, he rescheduled 2 times now and doesn't really choose Saturdays to meet. That's perfectly fine. Both times or at least the first time that he rescheduled, he actually followed through with the date. So if he's able to follow through on his rescheduling, that's fine. Obviously, you don't want a guy flopping on you, and you don't want a guy, just being wishy-washy. But if he's rescheduling and then following through, then that probably means he's rescheduling for a reason with purpose, not just trying to avoid you or something weird like that. Although it could be a complicated situation with him interchanging work schedule. So yes, that's most likely what it is. What do you think about the situation? Do you think his interest is there for me to continue in this? I think you meant to say. Thanks again, Thompson. You're the best. So these are the screenshots. I had a nice time with you. Do you have any schedule the 20th of December? Let's meet together. I'm going to go to the Songdo. Okay. All right. Then you said you had a nice time. The 28th. Okay, cool. How about 20? Okay. That actually doesn't look bad to me. How are you doing? I forgot about my schedule the 28th. I have a high school reunion. Can you do the 3rd? You're making a case why this is actually pretty good. I know maybe you might be someone where you want him to be texting you how much he loves you and stuff like that on the 3rd date, but I like this. I'll be honest with you. I like this from the standpoint of he is making it very clear what's going on in his life, what he's doing, and that, he's not confusing you by just not saying anything. You are not the one reaching out to him saying, what's going on this date? What are we doing now? You haven't said anything to me. He's pretty much making it pretty clear what dates work for him. And he's using texting how I would tell you to use texting to schedule things. So I don't think that this is bad communication. I get it. It doesn't feel like a fairy tale because he's not telling you how much he loves you in between every date. But I think that this is pretty intentional here. And I think that you can build off this because he's telling you I had a nice time with you, right? And things like that. I think this is something you can build off though, this is the caveat. I'll warn you, X, if you make the mistake of becoming too anxious and starting to bother him every moment and expecting that he spends trust me, I know you sent in this message and you were just trying to get clarity. I hope your anxiety never boils to the point where you start mentioning what you mentioned in your message here, where you start talking about, he has Saturdays off. So I don't know why you wouldn't pick a Saturday because you have that Saturday off. Please don't do that. That is the one thing that I guarantee you will ruin the relationship, because he's already showing you intention here in terms of being serious about planning the date or when you guys are going to see each other. Obviously, things happen and things are allowed to happen. He's allowed to reschedule. And just because he has a free date doesn't mean that belongs to you. So what you don't want to do is make it seem like you have nothing going on, that you can't be understanding of the fact that someone you're dating has a life. Because that doesn't send the right message if you start to pick at him for not choosing the day that you know he has off. First of all, why are you watching his schedule so hard that you know what day he's going to have off? And second of all, why are you telling him when he should want to hang out with you? He's picking the days that he wants to hang out with you because those are the days he wants to hang out with you. You can't get too obsessed with control that you want to control when he chooses to spend time with you. Because even if you do get to spend time with him by controlling when he chooses to do that, you won't even get the version of him that you're looking for. Because I know the version of him that you're looking for is someone that wants to be with you, not someone who's dating you out of pity or out of guilt because he feels sorry for you or because you have so much free time that you don't want to do anything else but spend time with him. What you want is a guy who chooses to spend time with you because of how much he likes you. So let him do that. Let him look at his own schedule and look at what time he's working and figure out the days that he wants to spend time with you. If any of this was a red flag to me, I would tell you it was a red flag, but I don't see any of what he's saying as a red flag. I get it. It's not magical. It doesn't feel like a fairy tale. It doesn't feel like he's super obsessed with you, but I don't think that that means you can't have a good relationship because he's not pretending to be super obsessed with you after meeting you a couple of times. He's just using the texting as a way to schedule when you guys meet up. And things happen in life, especially with someone that you just mentioned has a job that has a revolving weekly schedule that can change on a weekly basis. So I don't see any problems here, and I don't want your anxiety to start spiraling you out of control because I honestly think the only thing that can ruin that is your anxiety. All right? Let's go on to our next question here, which comes from Lena Leak. Lena Leak says, does he like me or not? Hi, Thompson. I am a 48-year-old single divorced woman. I have learned a lot from your lives, and I guess technically I know you know when a man likes you because his actions will be clear. But tell me what you think about this. I like a trainer at my gym. He doesn't train me. Okay. We would always smile and be cordial, but one day I initiated a message on IG commending him for motivating content. Okay. Since then, he started saying hi and smiling more. Sometimes it's obvious that he comes into my path or where I am so that we can say hi. Yeah, that's when guys like you at the gym, they'll find a reason to use the workout equipment that's right next to you. It's for sure. People do that. I can see that. Once he flirtatiously said that he was looking forward to when I post my workout vid. What does he mean by that? To see you squatting? When I did, I sent it to him and wait, what? Wait. When I did, I sent it to him and commented how he was caught in it too. Okay. Don't do this. Don't do this. Okay. I'm going to explain this nicely. Similar to unsolicited D pics from men, you should never, and I know I'm being really picky and meticulous, but I know you want my real honest advice. Don't ever send men things of you that are unsolicited, okay? Especially when it's not a guy who's actively dating you or courting you. This is just advice that I'll give you because I know how you want to come across, and I want him to see you the way that you want to come across. So I know he made a comment about it to you, but let him come to you. Let that be the established dynamic. Don't go out, take the video, and then send it to him. If he follows you as well, and he's able to see your account, he'll see it. Let him see it, and then comment on it or send it to you and be like, oh my God, I was in that video. That's the way you want it to be. Let him come to you. When you send it to him, it makes it seem as if, oh, I posted this because I wanted you to see it. So I'm sending it to you to make sure that you see it. And it's almost like, how do I explain this? It's almost like going up to someone and asking them, hey, I know that you saw my new post on Instagram. Why didn't you like my picture? And you'd be sitting there thinking, what? Oh, you should have liked my picture. I know you saw it. Didn't you see it? Be honest. And you're like, yeah, I saw it. I just didn't like it, right? I didn't click like. Why didn't you like my picture? Go ahead and like my. It's just not that's not the energy you want to give. It's that's not what you want to give. Let him come to you. However, he only did a laughing emoji. So I don't read these ahead of time, right? So I know how certain things will come across and a lot of times how guys will respond. Don't send him things that are unsolicited. You're not going to get the response you want. Okay? It just doesn't work like that. Recently, the same way, if a guy sends you an unsolicited D pic, he's not going to get the response he wants from you. Now, if you're horned up and, you're really wanting to see some stuff and you ask him for one, when you get it, it's going to be a whole different response that he gets from you. So it's the same kind of idea here. Recently, he initiated hugging as well. It was when he hugged another female and I was near, and then he hugged me too as well. As if he didn't want me to feel away. I'm not okay. I don't know if you're on point with that. I don't know if that's the hypothesis I would come to there. Before Christmas, we crossed paths one day while I was leaving, and he told me he wouldn't be there again until New Year. He gave me a really warm hug, but this is all at the gym. You're having some sort of gym fantasy going on here. You're horned up at the gym. Be honest. You're horned up at the gym here. Okay. I try not to pursue, so I only like and comment on his stories, but his response is always just a reaction. So you mean okay, this is the new age stuff. So I'm going to explain this to you for some of you who don't know. So this is a new thing. When you message people, instead of actually saying okay or yeah or, oh, that's awesome, people just click emoji to react to. So you don't actually respond. It's just a little side emoji on the message. So this means he's not even sending you a message back. Usually, I'm going to be honest with you. Someone who's Gen Z, communicating how Gen Zs usually use the reaction button. Reaction button usually means I don't really want to continue this conversation, but I want to acknowledge that I saw your message and that I'm not purposely trying to ignore you or didn't see it. Okay. So I don't know how, older generations use this to communicate, but for the most part, that's usually how people are trying to communicate when they do that. So I say that to say him just sending you a reaction response every time you comment on his story is probably means he's not that super interested in having a conversation with you like that. Because if he was, he would have a conversation with you. So the fact that he's liking or just reacting to it, to me, communicates that he just wants to acknowledge that he saw it and he's like, cool, thank you, appreciate the comment and the like. Not that he's mad at you or ignoring you, but he's also not interested in having an ongoing conversation with you. Okay, so that's why I'm explaining that like that, because I know for some of you maybe that aren't used to that kind of interaction, that it can be a little bit confusing. He never initiates any convo on IG, so like I just said. He did wish me happy birthday, but otherwise it's only reactions to what I say. So nothing to indicate he would want to know me better. Whilst in the gym, he continues to come in my path, smile, hug, etc. Today, we had the longest convo so far, and he really does seem nice. But like I said, no, may I get your number or anything. What do you think? He just likes a flirty gym vibe. He doesn't really like me. He is taken. Now, the taken thing could be a possibility. But what I really think, honestly, that it is, and this is based on my own observations going to the gym and watching people interact. The gym obviously becomes like a community. Especially if you go at a particular time, you're bound to see the same people over and over again. For example, I go to the gym in the mornings. When I go to the gym in the mornings, I usually wake up at 7 a.m. and then I'm at the gym for 8 a.m. I see basically the same people every day. Okay, I know their faces to the point where if I saw them outside of the gym, I would recognize them because I see them all the time. Okay, they're always like I know what they look like. Now, I say that to say that becomes like a community of people. So those people that you go to the gym, it's like going to school, right? So you see those people, you're there, you all go to the same gym and things like that. He's obviously a trainer at this gym, so he works there. So similar to what I talked to you all about before when it comes to men and flirting at work. Sometimes men will flirt with you at work because, yeah, they think you're attractive and pretty and, they want to flirt and they want to get your number and things. But sometimes men will flirt at work because it's convenient and it's fun and interesting. And it makes, work fun and interesting. So he's at work training people that he already has to train. Okay. Some of them are old men. Some of them are women he's probably not attracted to. But you might be someone, you're at the gym, you've got a nice body, you look good, you've got a nice dump truck, you're doing your squats, right? He's over here, he's like, damn, she doing her squats super good. He's looking at your dump truck, he's thinking, okay, yeah, she looking good. So he comes up and he talks to you and it makes work exciting, right? Makes it stimulating to have chit chat with you, to talk to you, to even flirt with you. But then when it comes to going home and actually going about life, he's not that interested in you that he would actually say, hey, the girl that I see at the gym, I want to take out on a date. Okay. And I want to kind of differentiate that because I know that can be confusing, because you might think to yourself, why flirt with me if you don't actually want to be with me? Well, he already has to be there. Are you following me? He has to be there because he works there. He's got to train people. He's got to get paid. So being there, he might as well flirt with someone who would make that time pass easier and make it more fun and exciting. But by the time he doesn't need that extra fun or excitement to make things engaging or interesting for himself, he goes home and he does whatever he actually wants to do. So after that, it's not important for him to be flirting with you or talking to you because he doesn't really want to do that. He just wants to use you to make work interesting. I know it sounds a little bit mean, but that's a lot of times what guys will do with the work situation. They'll just kind of make it a fun, little interesting vibe. But then if it actually comes to taking you out on a date, they're not interested in doing that. And I think this is one of those signs here, because for him to be only reacting to all of your messages and never really trying to, start a conversation with you, it doesn't really strike me as him having any real interest in you outside of flirting with you when you're working out. And he already has to be there because he's getting paid to be there. Okay. Anytime, I'll remind you all, because I think some of you forget this. Anytime you're flirting with a guy who is being paid to be there, don't ever take that as he actually likes you until he asks to see you outside of work. Okay. I'll use that as a learning moment for some of you, because I know some of you might go to a Starbucks or might go to a gym or might go to a whatever where you're flirting with the guy and you feel like you got something going on because when you see him there, you guys are always talking and chatting. But if he's never asking for your number or asking to see you outside of that, please never forget he's being paid to be there. You're flirting with him for free. So you think he's going to turn down, even if you're a good looking, attractive woman, you think he's going to turn down flirting with the good looking, attractive woman at work to make work interesting? No, it makes work interesting. But does he have the level of interest that he's going to pursue you outside of not being paid to be there? Not necessarily. Okay. So you can't correlate those two things just because a guy seems to flirt with you when he's getting paid to be in that place. Just don't forget that. Right. And I'm telling you this because I tell the same thing to guys. Guys might go out to a club and they think the bottle girl is flirting with them and actually wants them. Even if the bottle girl is flirting with you and thinks you're cute, she ain't necessarily going to actually try and date you. She just knows that if she gives off that nice flirty energy, them tips gonna fly. So just never forget that whenever you're flirting with someone who gets paid to be there. All right. Princess in 4D says, is it appropriate? Hi, Thompson. Do you remember the guy I wrote about last time, the Ghanaian one? Yes. Well, we've been dating for about 3 weeks. Wednesday will make it a month. We are not boyfriend and girlfriend yet, of course, but things have been going really well. I have a question about gifts. One of my love languages is receiving gifts, okay? And he asked me about it. Since then, he's been super thoughtful, buying me things, sending food to my house, and sending flowers. He's bought me heels and tells me to ask him for anything I want or need. I was thinking about getting him a leather journal because he mentioned that he likes writing and the theme of the journal matches his aesthetic. It's nothing too expensive, but I'm wondering if it's too soon for me to give him something. I also don't want things to feel completely one-sided, if that makes sense. I know he believes in the man being a provider, but I like to give back sometimes too. Yeah. On another note, I'm super grateful for everything he's done, and I was considering writing him a cute little thank you card that I give to him on our date tomorrow. I always like to write thank you notes when people give me gifts. I remember in one of your shows, you mentioned the importance of sitting your partner down and showing them genuine appreciation to encourage their good behavior. What do you think? Is it too soon for a thank you card or gift? No, I actually think everything you said is great. So what I mean by that is you want to give him something small that's meaningful and actually is something that he's asked for or mentioned. That's good. I think that that's great. And I'm only saying that because he's shown you a level of commitment himself by doing things for you. So now you can feel a little bit more comfortable giving him something small, like you mentioned, so that it's not so one-sided, right? This is a good balance. And I'm glad that you referenced the things that he's done for you, because that's the first thing I would have asked you. So now that we're seeing some intention from him and some consistency from him, yes, a small gift like a nice leather journal that was thought out because of something he mentioned, that's perfect. That's a perfect type of gift, okay? Now, the second thing here, when you're talking about the thank you note, I would agree. A thank you note would be good. Now, please heed this. When you give him the thank you note, make sure the thank you note consists of thanking him not just for existing in your life, okay? That's not what you're thanking him for. You're thanking him for the way that he has treated you and approached this relationship, because that is the behavior you want to reinforce in his mind, that you appreciate and actually matters to you. So make sure, even with your thank you note, where you're showing your appreciation, you can do that, but make sure your appreciation is very specific to the actions that you want to continue to see and you want to encourage. So if you want to mention the gifts that he got for you and how they helped your quality of life, how they improved your quality of life or made you super happy, that's great. If you want to also mention the things that he's done for you that are just thoughtful in general, and even go into detail about how it made you feel after receiving it or how you were able to utilize it to better your life, that's also good. Go into detail about that, because then when you do that, you're reinforcing in his mind, I'm doing something good for her and I'm being a good man whenever I do this. And I will also get a dog treat in the sense of appreciation from her whenever I do those things. So it reinforces that I should continue to do those things because I will see acknowledgement and appreciation for that. Okay? Right? So that all of those things I think is perfectly fine. All right? The note and the gift that is small but thoughtful is good at this time based on what he has done for you and the amount of intention he's shown to you. Okay. Anything else more than that would be too much, but I think this is good. You're on the right track here. All right. Let's go on to make sure I didn't skip any here. Okay. Let's go on to our free section here. We'll scroll down and we'll read Rez. Okay. So Rez says multiple posts going through breakup after being ghosted and need advice. Hi there, I'm a 27-year-old female from London and I was dating a 28-year-old male. I'm just going to go straight into it. All right, give it to me straight. I was with a guy for about 8 months. He followed me for a while on Instagram and would like every single picture / story I posted until one day he messaged me on my birthday and wished me a happy birthday. The conversation ended after that, and he did this a couple of times where he would respond to my story and we would have a conversation for 5 minutes and then he would ignore me. Oh, damn. Until many months later when I just ended a talking stage with another guy and this guy slid into my DMs again. This time he asked me what were my 2 a.m. thoughts. Wait, what? 2 a.m. thoughts on what? And from there, the conversation was never ending. We spoke for a month nonstop, constant text messages, and it progressed to romantic messages pretty quickly. He seemed to know the date of my birthday. I mean, he wished you happy birthday. The day I graduated and all the tiny details about me another man wouldn't notice. You posted on your birthday. He congratulated you. Happy birthday. Okay. I'm not saying that he's not noticing things, but I'm also saying, are those things on your Instagram? So like if he saw your Instagram, would he be able to see the date that you graduated? In which case it's not that hard to know the day that you graduated. Just saying, like your life's online. I was surprised, and he told me he's had the biggest crush on me for a long time. Oops, I lost my place. For a long time, and he thinks I'm the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. I'm a quite attractive woman with the full package, and I get a lot of male attention and can have a lot of options, but I'm a lover girl, so either I decide to stay single and alone or to speak to one person that I feel a connection with. But you don't know this guy. So with this guy, I felt drawn to him and I felt like we clicked, which made our conversations never ending. Wait. Chat, am I confused? Has she... Wait. You haven't met him yet, Rez. What's going on? You haven't met him yet. What do you mean you clicked? Clicked with what? He clicked a button on his phone and pressed send? What do you mean? What is clicking? That's not how this works. Okay? It doesn't work like this. I know it feels good to feel like you're vibing with someone, but like you're looking at your phone screen. That's not a real representation of the person behind the phone screen. You cannot forget that you have not actually met him. Okay? So I don't know what click you're talking about because there is no click, right? You don't know who he is yet. We spoke online for a month until we met on the day I was flying out to Malta? Where is that? Chat, where's Malta? He spoke highly of himself in terms of his looks, personality, and finances when we were talking. Let me ask you a question. What do you think he's going to say? I'm ugly, broke, disgusting, useless. I'm not saying that he was lying, but you're saying this in your message as if this should be evidence that like he's really the full package. Who would tell you that they're a horrible person, or they're very unattractive, or you wouldn't want to be with them? Who would go out of their way to tell you that? Anyways, but when I saw him in real life, I was a bit shocked. I think this is going to be one of those messages, chat. I can smell it. I was a bit shocked. He was a bit of a catfish because he looked way better in pictures. I didn't find him physically attractive at the first instance, and I felt a bit repulsed on the date. Oh boy. Chat, should I get up and stretch? Tell me, chat, should I get up and stretch? Because I can, this is a long message, and I can see, I think this is going to get bad. I have a feeling this is going to get bad. I have that in my stomach. Yeah, we'll stretch it out. I have a feeling, I think I know where this is going to go. Because, you're talking in a way that makes me feel like the delusion is going to get you acting a fool here. I have that feeling in my soul, my spirit. My intuition is usually never wrong. I'm going to stretch it out because I can feel it. When you start talking about we clicked, you haven't even met him yet. I don't know what's clicking. I'm confused. And now you've met him, and he is a catfish, right? So not only is he a catfish, you actually mention that he is made you feel repulsed on the date. Let's go on. He tried to kiss me after our breakfast, but I gave him a peck which barely touched his lips, and he carried my luggage to the airport and wished me a safe flight, and also gave me a love letter to read on the plane, which I found a bit cringe. Do you see why I tell you, wait till you meet the person first? Do you see why I say that? You think I just make stuff up out of my butt because I just like to hear myself talk? No. I tell you guys these things because I actually know how these things go. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I do help so many hundreds of women that I can see things coming from a mile away with guys. I also obviously am a guy, so I understand guys. And this whole falling in love over text, it never works out. It never does. I'm not saying you can't actually vibe with someone who you're messaging, but wait until you meet the real person behind the messages before you decide if there's actually a vibe going on. My best friend was going on the holiday with me, and I told her how I didn't find him attractive, but he's a nice guy. So he must be really different from what you thought, because you're mentioning your attraction to him a lot. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but he must be very different from what you thought he was going to look like. She advised me to give him a chance because she knows my dating history, and I've dated narcissists and avoidance in the past. I told her, I'm just sorry. I'm thinking about how you said the note was cringe, because I'm imagining you opening the note and just read it. He probably said some cringe stuff. I wish you had a picture of the note. I'm sorry, I'm just nosy. I told her I don't want to text him much while I'm on holiday. What happened? I thought he was your favorite person to chat with online. What happened to that? You met him now and you're no longer lubricated anymore? You're not horned up at the idea of chit-chatting with him all day over message? Now you want your holiday to yourself now after you met him? What happened to having so much chemistry and clicking on when you guys were online? I gave him minimal text and he was chasing me. I had 1 or 2 calls with him during the holiday out of kindness. What happened to loving to talk to him every single day? What happened to that? That was just a paragraph ago, okay? Where you were wanting to talk to him every single day and you thought he was the person you was looking for. But I just wasn't sure about him. That's okay. Okay. I ended up telling him I need space, and he was telling me how he misses talking to me. So I felt bad. We had spoken all day, every day for a month, and I did like his personality, so I decided to give him a chance. In the beginning, he was the chaser and the pursuer, and I was a bit of standoffish because I was still getting used to him. I thought you guys were clicking. What is there to get used to now? He would tell me how he feels like he likes me, but I don't like him as much. We had another date in central London and we had wine, and he told me that it's me or no one else. Like for him, we had our first proper kiss and I felt the chemistry. And since then, I decided to let go of the superficial things and give him a chance. So what you're basically saying is when you looked at him, your squirtle, what's in between your legs, did not get lubricated. In fact, it was very dry. And you're trying to lubricate it by convincing yourself this is going to work. So now you're just like full head on. I'm going to get over the fact that I'm dry and just make it work. Let's see how this works. We saw each other every single weekend for about 3 months of dating. At the end of the 3 months, we went away for a spa weekend in a hotel and ended up sleeping together. Okay, 3 months. All right, let's see what happens. We had amazing pineapple chemistry. Interesting. You weren't even attracted to him. We were both passionate about each other, and I felt more attracted to him after we became intimate. Okay. He was very giving. Gentle and caring with me. So he ate you out crazy. You can just say that. You know what? It's whatever. People treat it like Wattpad. Just say it. He ate you out crazy. The way he was serving you, he buried his head inside of you. He was doing that thing crazy, sucking and licking on that. Never mind. Let me not get too graphic. He would feed me on every date. And we had so much laughter and jokes together, which was one of the reasons we connected. Okay. You ride in his face, huh? Never mind. After the pineapples, things didn't change. Things only got better. For a while, I met his parents and friends. He took me out on dates and would pay for everything. He sent me good morning and good night messages, and he was consistent with it. He would also send random paragraphs of how much he feels that I am his dream girl and how he doesn't ever want to lose me. And just like a good horror story, there's a twist. Until things changed. All right, chat, let's buckle up here because clearly something's coming. We started seeing each other less, no longer every weekend. There were gaps between seeing each other, and I became very attracted to him at this point, and it seemed like I was no longer his priority. He would prioritize plans with other people and his friendship group of single boys who love to go clubbing and don't really respect women. His group of single boys love to go clubbing and don't respect women? He must be different though, right? Right. They treat them like objects and sleep with whoever they can get. He's different though, right? I feel like my ex put on a facade of who he was in the beginning. There were a lot of lies, but as time went on, I noticed a lot of red flags, such as lying about small things. He had a lot of female friends, and he was friend zoned by all of them. I'm guessing they didn't find him attractive. But he was a bit of a people pleaser with his boys and these female friends, which I noticed. By the way, he made me his girlfriend after 4 months of dating, and this was after he introduced me to his boys. So, question for you. When you met his boys and you had conversation with them, did you get the sense that they were basically guys who will use women and don't have respect for women? If that's the case, why didn't you think to yourself, why does he hang out specifically with men who are all one particular way, and I'm over here thinking he's totally different? I have that question for you, unless you didn't realize that at the time. There were 5 of them, and I could see all of them checking me out, and one was a bit flirty with me in his tone of his voice. And that same night, when we got back home, he asked me to be his girlfriend officially, although before this, he would call me his girl. So multiple questions I have for you, okay? And you may or may not have the answer to these yourself. But number one, usually this is kind of guy code. So if me and other guys are in a group of friends, if I bring a girl around that's a bop, okay, I'm just going to tell you guys how it is, right? This is how the Gen Z talk, right? If I bring a girl that's a bop, B-O-P, just means like a girl that I just like to mess with. She's just a vibe, but nothing too serious. My guy friends are able to flirt with her and talk to her as they see fit. She's a bop. It's whatever. If you can get some, you can get some too. But if I'm taking this girl serious and I communicate that to my boys, like, hey, I really like this girl and I'm trying to date this girl, for the most part, most of my guy friends are not going to try anything slick, and they're not going to try to backdoor me, as the kids would say. All right. But if he hasn't made that clear, then that's that should be a sign to you that maybe his friends are flirting with you because he hasn't made it clear that he's actually taking you serious, which is something you should be thinking about. The other thing is, which also could be a possibility, is maybe his friends just don't respect him, which is why they don't give a damn whether a girl is his girl or not. They gonna go for whoever they want if they feel like they want you. Okay, that could be another thing in itself. But, I'll leave you to answer which one that may be. I don't know. I'm guessing he noticed it and felt territorial. But I found it a bit weird. Like he was showing me off like I'm some sort of trophy wife and he's seeking validation from his boys. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what was happening. So he started clubbing more and seeing me less. Also, he was honest with me about his financial situation because he told me he was broke. So he's going out to the club with his boys. They're pitching on bottles and he's broke. So he's spending money he doesn't have on alcohol that he shouldn't even be drinking because he should be spending time finding a job. This was deeper into the relationship. This guy was a bit of a dusty, crusty, and I feel like I made a huge mistake of lowering my standards when it comes to lowering my standards. When my intuition was telling me on the first date not to go for him. The reason why I say he is a bum because he has had no bed in his room. What did you just say? What did you just? I hope that this is a typo. I hope that this is a typo. Someone said, "Are we getting trolled?" I hope this is a troll. You met the, oh my God. Let me. I knew this was gonna be I knew this was gonna take me for a ride. I knew this was gonna take me for a ride. I just knew it. I knew it. I knew the way that you were talking. I knew the vibe of the message. I knew how things were going. That this was gonna take me for a ride. I knew it. I knew it. You met the man and you went into his room and there's no bed in the room. No bed. He was sleeping on the floor. I can't even make a comment about that because I don't even know what was going through your mind. Like, when he legitimately just said, I have no bed, you didn't think to yourself, this is very, very strange. Please save my people. When I first went to his place, he lives with his parents. So he lives with his parents and he sleeps on a mattress on the floor. And I should have said something, but I felt secondhand embarrassment. So I didn't say anything. I just accepted it. He didn't dress well, and I'm a well-dressed woman. He would practically wear the same clothes and coat all the time and wouldn't get a haircut. When he saw me, unless he was going on a night out with the lads. This is very tragic. He started becoming too comfortable with me. How much more comfortable can he be? His mattress is on the floor. He doesn't get haircuts or washes underwear. Are you licking his balls and sucking him off? And he's probably not even washing his underwear. Oh my God, this is so gross. He's probably wearing the same underwear 5 days in a row and you're licking his balls. Imagine how much bacteria and sweat is. Oh my God, this is so gross. Why would you do this to yourself? I don't understand. The man's not well groomed on his face. You think he's taking, oh my God. Oh my God. Maybe because I accepted him for who he is and the fact that he had no bed. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't. Why would you do this? I don't understand. Why would you do this? I'm going to read this whole message today. I know it's long. We're going to go. Why would you do this? Why would you do this? He had an old car which barely worked properly, and he would, live paycheck to paycheck and run out of money every month. Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to be nice to you. I want to be nice and say, oh, I'm not laughing at you because, we all make mistakes. I get it. We all make mistakes. But me laughing should actually be a sign to you like this was so dumb of you to do. I just have to be real with you. And you need to feel the shame in order to realize how much of a mistake this is. I really mean this. You need to be shamed for what you did here, not because I don't like you, but because you need to feel that shame in order to never do it again. So when I'm laughing, feel embarrassed because you should be, because this is unacceptable what you did here in your decision making. I really mean that. When we went on dates, I would notice that he would pay on a credit card. That's not a crime. There's nothing wrong with that. He kept lying to me and telling me he was investing into crypto. And he's investing in a crypto and he lives in his parents' house. Why doesn't he invest that into an apartment? And I soon found out he makes bad financial decisions. He's in debt and does not know how to manage his money. His friendship group is quite well off and rich, and he's the bum of the group. I don't know whether he's trying to live up to their lifestyle or what he's spending on, but he should be saving up money as he is a 28-year-old living with his parents. He started becoming more and more transparent about the fact he had no money in his bank account. Are we talking about no money, like really no money? Are we talking about he goes to McDonald's and he can't even, like, he's having to put together quarters and change to get a McChicken? Like, is that the type? Are we talking about that? If we're talking about that, how did he even get it past you? If he's having to check his account to get a McChicken at McDonald's, we're talking dire constraints. That's some. I thought you just meant, he didn't really have nothing crazy. You sound like you talking about he's putting together his money to go to McDonald's. And also, I noticed that he had an inability to be alone. He was always out and doing something with the money he doesn't have. He never had a night in, which is why he's never getting his money or life together. His routine was always work. What work? You ain't making no damn money. Gym, and then go out with the boys. And then he saw me on the weekends, occasionally at this point. He also lied to me and told me he believes in God at the start of our relationship, but then told me he's an atheist, which does not align with my values, as I'm a huge believer in the spiritual and God. He would also try to freeload things a lot when we went out, such as dessert in a restaurant, by saying it was my birthday to the waiting staff when it wasn't, and this happened more than once. He wasn't willing to buy me cocktails on dates. He would only buy one, and then we would get drunk together by drinking wine from the super... Oh my God, man. I'm sorry. You might have a career as a writer because the way you I'm sorry. It's just too funny. I can't hide it anymore. It's just too funny. It's too funny to me. I'm not gonna lie. It's too funny to me. I'm laughing because you guys are sharing the same cocktail so he can save money. And then, oh boy. You can't make this is one of these you can't even make it up. You couldn't. There's no way you made this up. There's no one that creative to make this up. So I feel really bad for you, but this is a necessary learning experience because all of these pieces of information are things you should have been taking in at the time and realize, well, even before you actually ended up sleeping with him, because you told me it was 3 months before sleeping with him, right? So these are pieces of information you should have been actually analyzing at the time, instead of just being like, oh, he'll be perfect. Let's go on. So I felt like I lowered my standards with this man clearly a lot. By the way, he thought that crypto is going to make him financially free and fully dependent on that. That's another part of analyzing men in terms of their plan. A lot of guys will say things like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, cool. What's your plan to be a millionaire? Yeah, I want to sell water. What? I want to, I want to make the NBA, and he's 5'6". That's your plan to become a millionaire? Hoop dreams, and you're 5'6"? Those are the things you should be analyzing and thinking about when you talk to men as well. I started to notice he's a bit delusional in his personality. He would tell me he has never experienced trauma and he's living his best life, because he has no rent, no bills, no responsibilities. Which is why I don't feel he was very empathetic or emotionally mature, because he could not relate to me, and I didn't feel safe sharing the deepest parts of my life and trauma that I have been through. Imagine you were talking about how you had to go to work. He doesn't even really understand that. He barely has to do anything. You think a guy like this even washes his clothes? He probably doesn't even do his own laundry. Probably his mommy does his laundry. Okay? I'm being honest with you. Anyways, although he went clubbing with his friends, I didn't stop him. I let him because I feel he's allowed to have fun with his life. And if he doesn't do anything wrong, the truth will come out soon. I mean, it kind of already was. It always does. So I just let people show me their true colors. I felt like we started texting less, more into the relationship. He was consistent with me. The good morning, good night phone calls before bed. We would also text each other here and there throughout the day, and I was satisfied with that as I'm a busy woman too. However, I noticed his energy was changing a bit and I started to feel anxious, so I started playing the hot and cold game with him, and I did not want to be too available. I did this on purpose, so it was a bit of a manipulation tactic, but I wanted him to still view me as his dream girl, as I could tell he had stopped putting in as much effort into his appearance and the relationship. He wasn't putting an effort into any of that before. Like you mentioned, you were repulsed by him early on. Initially, he told me he was dating to marry, but as we got more serious, he said he felt pressure in his mind about marriage. He felt his life is not on track. He has a crap car, no money in the bank, and no house, so he doesn't care how old he gets until he marries and has kids, and asked me if I have a strict deadline for it. You know, chat, I know some of you are wondering, why are you reading this whole message? This is a really long message. I'm going to tell you why. Because I want you to see what it looks like firsthand to be in a situation that it's so clear to other people that this is not the man you're looking for, and how delusion can grip your mind and have you wasting years of your life with a guy who anyone who even is blind could tell you is not a guy you should be wanting to spend your time and energy on. I want this to be like a horror story. So every time she goes through it, and Rez, I know you're sending it in, and I want to answer you, and we're not trying to be mean to you, but I want you, chat, to learn from this as a horror story, to understand how delusion will grip your mind. And that when you're analyzing men, you also need to be in a place and be honest with yourself. Is this really the type of guy that I'm looking for? Or am I delusional or mesmerized by something that's just not there? Because that's the position that Rez is in right now. But it's easy to see it on the outside. Doesn't seem so easy to see it when you're in it, okay? I told him ideally I would like to be married by 30 and kids in the mid-early 30s. But I don't think he would be ready for that, as he seems to lack ambition and purpose in his life. He goes for the easy route, the easy option, and the easy job, and the easy way out. So what do we call this, chat? We call this a microwave man, right? The guy who's looking for the path of least resistance in everything. Those men, you can never get them to do anything for you or have any intention with you in a relationship. Why? Because they don't want to do anything that's hard. They want everything to come as easy as possible. So anytime they face a challenge or anytime they have to put in real effort into something, they immediately give up. I noticed that he was not able to have uncomfortable conversations. I'm so glad you're sending this in, because you're going through everything that I would advise you guys to be spotting in the men that you're looking for as a sign that you should stop wasting your time. You're going through it all, and I'm glad that you're going through it all. I noticed he was not able to have uncomfortable conversations and would often run away during conflict. He kept saying that he's not an argumentative person and he wants good vibes all the time. Have you ever heard a guy say that to you, chat? I want good vibes all the time. I don't want to argue or talk about nothing too deep. So he would often become immature, defensive, and would give me the silent treatment after an argument. I used to go back to try and make amends after an argument and would often say sorry because he made me feel like it was my fault for having those feelings. So gaslighting. I chose to stay despite all the red flags and lowering my standards as he still treated me with love and the romance, which must have been love bombing. Yeah, at the very beginning, obviously it fizzled out. My love language is words of affirmations, and he would give me that. Ironic, this is the cheapest version of love that he can give you, quite literally. Words of affirmation is literally just words, and it cost him nothing to say them. He also doesn't have to actually live up to them, in which case he didn't. So I felt loved by him. He would also take me on nice dates and spend on me. Well, you're only buying one cocktail. You're sharing it and then buying a bottle of wine to get drunk on outside of the restaurant. That's funny to me. I've never done that, and I think that that's funny. That's why I think it's really funny, actually. On me, dates on me, so I would be grateful for it. So he's spending money he doesn't have. Even if I had a few cocktails, He still planned dates and took me to places, so I was even more understanding about what he could afford. I started becoming more, I'll just be real with you. You know, everyone goes through things, but if you're in a place where you have to share cocktails with your girl in order so that the bill's not too expensive, I think that his priority should be in making more money. I just have to be honest with you. Like the same thing for guys, there's a certain position you should be in your life if you want to start dating. And if you're worried about money and money is an issue for you where you're counting, quarters and you're pinching pennies, you shouldn't be dating because it just doesn't make sense. You won't be able to court a woman when you're in that position, right? I started becoming more anxious in the relationship when I noticed that he would go out clubbing and follow women. So you're going through all of the things that I would advise you all to avoid in men. He was basically going out and chatting to other women and getting their Instagram details. I feel like that is not acceptable in a relationship because why would you seek out other women when you are with someone? You're precisely right. But this is just in addition to all the other red flags. I think that's emotional cheating. Anyways, it kept happening and I would stay silent and not say anything because I chose to not let him know that his emotional power over me. I often walked on eggshells and didn't express my feelings as he was not good at conflict. I guess you meant say conflict resolution. So instead, I gave him the silent treatment as well. I would text him once a day, and I went very cold on him. He noticed and was chasing me again and asking me why I've gone cold towards him, and I would not share. But he knew deep down what he was doing and he didn't change that, which means he just doesn't care enough, right? Anyways, the day before my birthday, I tried to break up with him and he begged me and cried and said he pictures a future with me and doesn't want to let me go. What's the over or under that he says he's going to unalive himself if you break up with him? Curious. He planned my birthday with him. He's planned my birthday with him and he really wants me to see him. I told him there were certain traits I've noticed in him that are red flags and I think he is not the right man for me and someone else is. So if that's how you really feel, you should have just broken up with him. Why tell him that as if that's going to make him change? It's not going to actually change anything, but whatever. But he still pleaded that I see him for my birthday, and we both cried on the phone, so I decided to give him a chance. He gave me the most special birthday. His mother baked me a cake and gave me a gold necklace that she paid for. A sentimental gift with our initials engraved within the locket and an infinity symbol as he remembered that I love that symbol and I was born on the 8th. Great. He asked his mommy to buy you a necklace. Great. He used mommy's money to buy you a necklace. Are you proud? Are you happy? He would remember a lot of little things about me in the relationship. We also had the best time at one of the top restaurants in London. Great. He used mommy's credit card to take you out. Are you happy? And I thought to myself, we can save this relationship, and I forgave him. Give him another chance and be with him. So when you sleep over at his place, you sleep on the floor too? Or do you bring a sleeping bag? My friends told me to break up with him after my birthday to be brutal after he was disrespecting me by following other women he met out, but I had a weakness for him and did genuinely like him, so I decided to give it another go. Chat, you think this is smart? 8 days later, it was his birthday and I spoiled him. Oh boy, nice. Got him his favorite football shirts, took him to a top restaurant and club, and we partied together most of the night. He told me that night that he wants to celebrate every birthday with me and that I am the best girlfriend ever. You think he got girls' Instagram while he was out with you at the club? He also told his friends that I am the best girlfriend ever and he ever had, and we went out clubbing with them after that. After that, I thought maybe we can make things work. We used to fall asleep on the phone together when we never spent nights together. And he also gave me a love letter on my birthday, how he was growing more and more feelings every time he sees me. He felt like I was his soulmate and he saw forever with me. Until a week after my birthday. All of this good stuff that you're talking about, the way you're describing it, it made it sound like it was happening for months. This happened for probably a couple of days because after a week after your birthday, it was already going bad, like you said. I didn't spend that weekend, after his birthday. I didn't spend that weekend with him. He love bombed me the whole Saturday and was being extra thoughtful and caring and loving over text, which I found off in my gut. So it's funny. Your relationship is resembling the very beginning of your relationship, which is that you actually end up feeling the best about him over message. When he can be his online self, you feel good about him in the relationship. This is a perfect example of dating the best texter. Remember how I always tell you guys, hey, focus on what's important, which is he intentional about dating you? And is the vibe there when you guys are there in person? Because dating the best texter, while it might feel good to be able to text him 24/7, if you meet the guy that is the best texter, a lot of times the best texter is going to be the worst in person and is going to have the least vibe with you in person. So focus on the things that are the most important, which is exactly what's happening here. She got with, Rez, you got with the best texter that made you feel good over text, but the vibe in person is not there. Okay, at least for the most part. That's where things are falling apart. I've noticed a pattern of him giving me more loving messages when he lies to me. He lied to me twice and hasn't told me he's at the club with his friends. He told me instead he's going to his friend's house. The night he was sending me romantic messages until 5 a.m., but I found out, one, that he lied to me and he was at the club when he had no reason to lie, as I don't care if he goes out as long as he updates me every now and then. Number two, he went out and got another girl's Instagram details, but this time I found out through my due diligence and stalking his friends that he cheated on me this night. There it is. There it is. I'm curious, chat. Tell me in the chat, based on what you've seen so far, do you think this will be the splash of cold water that Rez needed to finally walk away from the relationship? Tell me, chat. Do you think that this was the splash of cold water? You think she's going to, now she's ready to walk away after seeing this? You think so? You think so? Let's see. Whether it was emotional cheating or more than that, I don't know. I didn't mention anything to him, even though I knew. I messaged him on 7 p.m. on the Sunday saying hi and also saying that I've been ill all weekend and that he hasn't checked up on me since 5 a.m. Does he not care about me during this week? The good morning and good night messages stopped. So I mentioned that. He was active on his phone but didn't respond to me. So I ended up deleting those messages. If you're unsending messages to your own boyfriend, you're in a very bad place. Okay? However, he saw the rest of the messages and ignored me. Since that Saturday, he basically ghosted me, being ghosted by your own boyfriend. We've been 4 weeks, no contact. This is ongoing. All of this, I was thinking was going to lead to, we ended. This is ongoing in your mind. So he's still your boyfriend in your mind. Great. I chose to act indifferent. I did not chase him. I gave him the silent treatment back. I don't want to give him the power and the ego stroke. So I chose to walk away in silence, but he still had me on social media and would watch every single story I would post, looking beautiful and going out with my friends and enjoying life. Enjoying life because I chose to act unbothered even though it was on my mind 24/7. I did not reach out for closure. After 4 weeks of watching my social media no contact, he unliked every picture, removed his comments from my pictures, and then removed me off Instagram and Snapchat, but he hasn't blocked me. I just have to laugh. It's just funny. I'm just very confused. What are you confused about? What are you confused about? Oh boy, what are you confused about? He's the one who did wrong and cheated, but he's acting like I'm the problem. Oh boy. He doesn't know I know he betrayed me, but he's avoiding me and not taking accountability. Okay. Okay. You're worried about the wrong thing here. You're so worried about I need to break this down for you because I don't think you understand it. This man doesn't care. You're trying to like have a man who doesn't care about taking accountability, take accountability, or care that he did you wrong. It's almost like, so this is what's happening. Okay, Rez? You're imagining that your relationship is playing out in front of a crowd of people and they're all watching you and analyzing everything that's going on like you're in a movie. And you're thinking in your mind that, hey, you know you did me wrong. So you should acknowledge to me and everyone else in the crowd the way that you did me wrong because you know what you did wrong. He does not care that he did you wrong. He doesn't give a damn that he cheated on you or went behind your back or any of that stuff. You're thinking that he's supposed to take accountability because it's the right thing to do and he should own up to it and he should apologize and he should be sorry. He does not care. And I feel like you're not getting that through your head. And you're thinking that he's supposed to have some particular response because, the way he did what's something that's wrong. You can only hold people accountable that actually are taking responsibility or want to take responsibility. Right? And this guy doesn't seem like he's accountable to anything or anyone. Doesn't seem like he's been accountable for most of his life, which is why he's in the position that he's in. So I don't understand why you're seeking some sort of like him saying, oh, I was wrong and I did wrong, as if that's ever going to happen. It's never going to happen. He basically lost his dream girl, and my friends think he downgraded because the girl he cheated on me with isn't even attractive. I'm sure that's true, but okay. Whereas I'm very beautiful, a very beautiful woman who is successful with a good career and a lot going on for me in my life. Yeah, okay, I'm glad you say that, but you do realize your partner is a reflection of how you view yourself. So you're saying that you're a beautiful woman who takes care of yourself and all that good stuff, and that's great. But so when people see how beautiful you are, and then they see your sloppy, disgusting, nut-stained man with that's unshaven, that looks, super raggedy, that has a mattress on the floor and wears the same clothes, you know what they actually see of you? They see someone with low self-esteem, who doesn't have self-respect and doesn't have standards. So as beautiful as you think that you're looking to everyone else when you go out into the world and, they see you and they see your dump truck and stuff like that, as soon as they see your partner and they see the guy that you chose, they realize that you actually have no standards and they realize you actually have no self-respect. And all of the beauty and attractiveness that you were seeming like before they saw your partner, all of it goes away. So it's funny. As attractive and as beautiful as you think you are, when people realize the person you chose as a partner, they say, nah, she ain't that good. All right. She ain't got it like that, because clearly she chose a partner that's trash, because there's something about her definitely trash. That's what they're thinking, and that's how they're perceiving it. He basically fumbled an elegant girl and a baddie. I decided to stay through all of that, and I felt stupid. He was never a man who could meet me at my level, and he decided to settle for his level and what he could get. I guess I just feel upset that he could disrespect me and ghost me like that after an 8-month relationship. I think at least I deserve an explanation or some closure. Look, Rez, in a perfect world, sure, that's what would happen. You're not getting closure. You're not getting an explanation. Just move forward. Let this be your closure. Rewatch this, because I'm going to read your whole message here. We're almost done anyways. Rewatch this 80 times, as much as you possibly can. And chat, tell her all your feelings. Let this be your closure, okay? Let this be the moment that you got it all out. You said what you needed to say. You talked about it. You expressed it. You realized where you messed up. And let this be the moment where you say to yourself, I want to move forward in my life. Let this be your closure, because you won't get that from him. I can assure you. You will never. Think about it like this as well. Why would he want to give you closure that you can properly move on? Why would he want that? He'll want you to be paralyzed by confusion and to sit there thinking to yourself, I still need closure, so that he can continue to still access you. Closure is not something in his best interest. I do think he removed me off social media to get my reaction because he wants me to reach out first. When he had me on social media and we weren't talking, he would watch my story within 15 minutes. I decided to dye my hair, have fun with my friends, and look happy on every story I would post. I did not want him to think he's affected me emotionally. I acted indifferent because that's the best revenge in my opinion, but you should actually stay gone. Things were serious between us, so I felt confused as to how he could just go on a night with his player friends, he's different though, right? And cheat on me when he used to tell me that cheating is not in his character. I don't know whether it's the fear of missing out and whether he wanted to seek validation from his friends that night, but basically he lost me forever. You think he slept with another girl for validation from his friends? Okay. He's now rebounding and talking to other girls, but I notice how he's also following how to approach women and how to attract women and how to get women when you struggle to get girls and how to clap some cheeks in dating pages by men. Most of the advice on these Riz dating pages is extremely immature, and he follows probably over 10 of these dating advice men pages. I honestly think before he was friend zoned by every girl because he's not all that and he's broke. Probably. Other women don't give him a chance, but I think I was a fluke as he got lucky with me. That's not a flex. That should be something you're really embarrassed about. Now he's desperately trying to seek validation from another girl when he's not even financially stable enough for a relationship. He'll realize that his market value is very low. Truthfully and honestly, I'll just be real with you. If he's ugly with no money, his market value as a man is very low. Like he's going to be very low on the totem pole. So trust me, he'll get his one way or another, and he's going to realize that one way or another. Anyways, it's been over a month now and we haven't spoken. He's no longer on my social media. He's out of sight. I guess he's done me a favor. The reason I did not unfollow him was because I didn't want to have an emotional reaction. However, I did mute his stories and did not watch anything he posted, even though he was watching mine. He ended up breaking up with me because deep down he's insecure and he felt like he needs to leave first before I do. I don't know if it was self-sabotage in the relationship. No, he's just a bad person. Like, when I say bad person, I mean like he's just not boyfriend or husband material. You got to leave trash men like this alone. Like he's just not a guy you're going to be looking to build a relationship with, and you shouldn't be wasting your time on. I also hope you've unfollowed him. He never would express his feelings about other men, as I got a lot of attention. I could tell he felt jealous, but would never voice or open up about his feelings or become vulnerable about how he felt. In the dating pool, basically, I would have way more better options than him because he was dating someone like me who was way out of his league and did not compensate in the relationship with so many compliments and adoration, which is why I was confused how he just switched up overnight and decided to ghost and walk away from my life. I was always loyal to him, and I told him how I felt, and I would have been there for him. My friends think his friends have told him to secure a backup and leave me first, maybe because I was about to break up with him on my birthday. Anyways, now we are no longer together. Please let me know your perspective and thoughts about my situation because I am confused and seeking closure for myself. Girl, there ain't no more closure. This is your closure. This message is your closure. I don't understand how someone can see you as their dream girl and then fumble you real bad. Do you think men like this come back, and do you think he will realize and regret it? Thank you for taking your time to read this. I would like your advice, okay? All right. It's probably the longest question we've ever read on the show. All right. I only read this honestly because it was entertaining. Now, here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. This is your closure. You're not getting no closure from him. Okay. Your closure is done after this message. Okay. So I say that because you're a man who actually wants to take accountability is the one that will take accountability. He has no interest in taking accountability with you. Not a single bit, not a tad. Okay? And I need you to just accept that as a reality. So there is no last conversation. So let me tell you this. If you have any of his clothes or pictures or any of his belongings at your place, don't be thinking to yourself, I'm going to return them to him. Just put them all in a trash bag and throw them away in a public trash can. Okay? I really mean that. Don't bother wasting your time. Ain't gonna be no last conversation. Ain't gonna be no farewell. Ain't gonna be no meet up and talk about this or talk about that. Ain't gonna be no reconvene or look back on our relationship or look back on this. No, you're just gonna move on. Because I'll be honest with you. You asked me in your final paragraph here of the long paragraphs, you asked me in your final paragraph, why would a man ever do this, right? I don't understand how someone can see you as their dream girl and fumble you so bad. What you need to understand is when you meet men, you're not just looking to be attractive to all men and hope that men will be attracted to you in general. You're looking to find the specific type of man that you actually need in order to be in a long-term relationship with. All the other men and what they think of you and how they choose to treat you are irrelevant to you because you're not trying to be with those men. So what I kind of want to help you understand here is you're asking me a question of why is a guy who doesn't take his own life seriously, doesn't have any intention or direction in his own life, doesn't know what he wants in his own life, doesn't actually plan or get anywhere in his own life, doesn't progress in anything, doesn't have no money, has no resources, still lives with his mother, has no plan, no schedule, no success going on in his life. Why would that man fumble a great woman? That man has fumbled his entire life. Every single aspect of his life is not in order. Every single one. His finances, his work, his friendships, his responsibilities, his priorities, his house, where he lives, where he sleeps, his clothes, his hair, his everything is fumbled in his life. Every single aspect. Nothing is going right. He has quite literally nothing going for him. Nothing. Not a single thing. The reason he fumbled you is because he has fumbled every aspect of his life. So what he has actually done here is perfectly in line with exactly the type of person he is. The problem is, in the process of seeing that and experiencing that, you didn't want to come to that realization and accept that as the truth. You went to his house where he lives in with his parents and you saw he's living on a mattress, on a dirty mattress on the floor. I can guarantee you that mattress on the floor had no damn bed sheets. Guaranteed. Just the bare mattress and a crumpled up old pillow just there. And a nasty nut-stained blanket. I guarantee you. He's wearing the same clothes every day. He don't got nothing to wear. Okay? Stains probably. Right? You think if he's not changing his outer clothes that people are seeing, you think he's wearing different boxers? Hell no. Wearing the same nut-stained boxers. Probably not even shaving his pubes. Okay? Probably got hella bacteria back there and under there. And you're licking all over that. Shame on you. Okay? Not taking care of himself, not grooming himself, looking like a mess except for when he has to go out to the club and hopefully meet girls. Not taking care of his finances, not getting that in order. Okay? Having to share cocktails with you in the restaurant. That he has to go and pay for cheap wine that you guys can get drunk off of $10 bottles of wine so that you guys can be drunk by the time you go to the restaurant. The man spending money on alcohol. And he doesn't even have, rent. He doesn't even have a place to live. And you said he has a broke, beat up car. He's driving a broke, beat up car to the club to spend money on liquor. And you're asking a question why this man would fumble. You don't get it? These are the type of men that fumble everything. That's what I'm trying to help you understand. That's why I'm trying to help you understand when you choose men, you're not just choosing men who like you. Your criteria for a man is more than just, does he like me? You don't date men just because they like you. If you're a beautiful, attractive woman, all the guys like you. That shouldn't be a shocker to you. That shouldn't knock you off your feet. You should be thinking to yourself, what am I looking for in terms of the character traits and qualities of the man that I can actually build a sustainable relationship with? What you also need to start getting understanding of is certain qualities and character traits that you will see of men will make it so that it will be impossible to create a sustainable long-term relationship with that man. So when you see him talking about, hey, I want to make money off of crypto. I have no money. I got a mattress on the floor, a beat up car, and I want to spend any money that I do have going to the club and paying for liquor. But I'm going to get rich off of crypto. That's going to change my life. As soon as you see that, that should be your sign to leave, because you can't even create a sustainable relationship with a man like that. He's not going to be financially stable, and he doesn't know how to prioritize even something as simple as his own money. Rez, this is your closure. I want you, after this, I want you to block him on everything. Block his WhatsApp, his number, his social media, Snapchat, everything. Everything you have him on, block him. I want you to go to your friends and your family, and I want you to tell them all that you are never, ever going to speak to him ever again in your life. And if there is ever a moment where he contacts them, any of your friends and family, and tries to get in touch with you, you don't have them to not send the message to you. They shouldn't even tell you that he tried to contact them, right? Or contact you. And you should tell them that, yeah, if he says that to you, just go ahead and, yeah, say, cool, yeah, sure, whatever, and never say anything to you, because you don't want to speak to him for any reason whatsoever. You block him, you're going to take all of the clothing items, toothbrushes, crusty boxers. I'm sure you probably left some of those stained, nasty clothes at your place. You're going to put them all in a trash bag. You're going to throw them away. You're going to go on your computer and on your phone, and you're going to delete every picture and video of him in your phone. You're also going to delete every screenshot of every conversation you've ever had with him in your phone. It's pointless to keep that. You're not keeping any evidence for any court of law. Okay? Don't think that you're keeping some screenshots to show him what he said to you this one time. Delete them. He's not going to take accountability. Forget that. You're not going to get closure. Forget that. Delete those conversations. Go in your phone, delete any music or song or video that you've ever watched that makes you or reminds you of him or makes you think of him. Delete all of those. Any place that you go to where you could run into him, change that place. If you go to the same gym, go to a different gym. If you go to the same grocery store, you go to that area, go to a different grocery store. And any club that you know he goes to or bar you know he goes to, go to a different one in a different town. You ain't going to those ones no more. Okay? Don't hang out in the places that you know he hangs out in. He's done with your life, and you're done with him. There is no rebound. Don't ask me if he's going to come back. There is no comeback. Okay? Don't ask me if he'll regret it. It doesn't matter if he regrets a damn thing. You're moving on with your life. You're moving on with your life. It doesn't matter if he regrets a damn thing. Who gives a damn what he thinks? Let him go be a bum and have sex with girls on his disgusting, nasty mattress on the floor. Okay? You don't worry yourself about that. That's not relevant to you. You're going to move forward with your life, and you're going to be much happier putting your time and energy into yourself and building yourself up, so that when a guy comes into your life that actually wants to invest in you, that actually has his life going on and has his life structured with resources and can do things for real and is a real man, he can actually take care of you. And you can look like a sensible woman when you walk out of the house with a man who looks at least decent looking and also has resources to take care of you, right? If you're a beautiful woman, you should be getting taken care of by a man who's driving around a G-Wagon or a Rolls Royce or a Mercedes Benz. that when you step out of the car, they're like, okay, it makes sense why he got that girl, because he got money and he can take care of her, right? You shouldn't be the girl where you're walking out of the car and your man that's driving the car has a beat up, nasty car and he looks disgusting. Then other people will be looking at you like, what the F is wrong with that girl? That man don't have money and he's disgusting. Why would she choose him? She must have no self-esteem. Ain't no closure. This is your closure. And I know this was the longest message we ever did, but we had to do it. And I also hope some of you are seeing how crazy this can get if you don't pull yourself out of the delusion. Okay? All right, chat. This is a long one today. That's the show for today. We are going to, you guys can watch that back plenty of time. That was probably like a 40-minute question. For those of you who have any questions for me and you want to ask it to me, whether it be in our free section or in our premium relationship advice forum, you can always go over to the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description and ask it there. For those of you who are watching the show on TikTok, you can follow me on Instagram there. My Instagram is just Tomisin, Tomisin _Atub on Instagram, and you guys can find it in my description if you're watching on YouTube as well. Let me acknowledge a couple of the donations that have happened since we got on this Discord time. Nicole donated $5. She said, any advice on detaching after you've already started spiraling? Awesome show. Meet and greet 2025. That's funny. Yes, I'll actually have a show that's actually dedicated on how to detach from a man that you've been dating. So if you type that in, if you type my name in and then you type that in, Nicole, you'll actually find that on my YouTube page. So that's a whole show in itself. Okay. Guts also donated $50 in the YouTube chat. She just sends a super sticker. So thank you very much, Guts, for the super sticker there. All right. For those of you who are watching me on TikTok and you want to rewatch the show because maybe you missed some points, or you want to rewatch all the Discord time because maybe you came late or whatever the case may be, my YouTube is just above my head on the top right corner of the screen. It's Tomisin Atobatele. Just type in my first name on YouTube, Tomisin. When you go onto my YouTube, go into the live section of my YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see this live stream and all the other live streams I've done since the beginning of time. And the best part is you'll have the YouTube and the TikTok live chat embedded in the video there, so you won't miss any of the conversation, okay? For those of you who want to catch me live again, I'm live every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm not here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. But I'm going to be here on Monday at 4 p.m. EST. Throughout that time, I'll be posting on YouTube, so look out for that. I might post on YouTube. And yeah, okay? So I'll see you all Monday at 4 p.m. EST. Until then, goodbye, arrivederci, adios, sayonara, hasta la vista, ciao, salam. I think I said them all. Bon voyage! And I'll see you again on Monday at 4 p.m. EST. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy. I guess the holidays are over now. We're back to regular scheduled programming, but enjoy your time. Stay safe. Try not to end up in any tragic or crazy situations, but I will see you again on Monday. I love you so much.